Rogers TV welcomes you to the following presentation of the Ontario Hockey League.
Tonight, the Knights take on the Whalers. This game is still worth 2 points. This game still counts, but this game is different. London, Plymouth, outdoors, next.
OHL Hockey Town Winter Festival. We're at the studios on York Street in London. You saw an outside shot of Comerica Park in Detroit. Live OHL hockey outdoors tonight. I'm Mark Schadenberg alongside Rick Doyle. London Knights are coming off a loss to the Niagara Ice Dogs on December 20th, but they've won 8 of their last 10. Whereas this Plymouth team is coming off a shootout victory, but they're only winners of 1 of their last 10 because they had a 9-game losing streak leading up to that. Let's talk about these two teams, starting with the goaltenders. Reckon Alex Nedeljkovic gets the start here for the Plymouth Whalers.
Well, Alex Nedeljkovic is considered an A-list goaltender. If Zach Vucali is the first goaltender that's going to be selected this year, then Nedeljkovic won't be far behind. Now, a 10-22 record on the season, but 4 games lost by 1 goal and another 4 lost in a shootout, so a total of 8 games lost by just 1 goal, Mark. An outstanding .911 save percentage in spite of that losing record. And 18 to 25 goaltenders are selected in each draft class. As an A-list, he would be one of the top 3 to 4 goaltenders selected in this draft class this year. So if goaltenders aren't going to be taken in the first round outside of Vucali, look for him to go in the 2nd to 3rd round.
Of course, we'll be taking the live video feed from a Schoolcraft Productions out of, actually basically it's a college out of the Plymouth area. And of course, Pete Krupsky will be doing the play-by-play, probably doing the national anthems there now into Comerica Park. Let's talk about Jake Patterson, the starting goalie for the London Knights.
Well, Jake Patterson, he's looking for a bounce-back game, and there's no doubt about it. He's had 3 inconsistent performances for London. Versus the Erie Otters, 3 goals on 18 shots in a 4-3 loss. Versus Kingston, 3 goals on 19 shots. He was pulled. He went back in for the 3rd period. He saved 16 shots in that 3rd period to preserve a 6-4 win. And versus Niagara, 3 goals on 16 shots to start the game, 6 goals overall on 32 shots in a 6-5 loss. So Jake Patterson, he's desperate for a consistent performance tonight.
After a fairly quiet start to the regular season, Max Domi is now 2nd on his team in points with 45. Boy, there's no one hotter right now in the OHL than Max Domi.
Well, Max Domi might be trying to make a point here to Team Canada, obviously left off of their list with regards to Team Canada over in Sweden. Domi has 19 points in his past 7 games. He's on a 7-game point scoring streak. He has 9 goals in that 7 games. So Max Domi obviously out to prove something. He has to take a leadership role here for the London Knights in this stretch of games with all these players out of the London Knights lineup, and Domi is making a statement, obviously, in those 7 games.
I did some Western Mustangs football games late in the season. We used to check the weather network to see what was going on weather-wise. Right now, apparently it's raining and it's exactly 0 degrees in Detroit. What are the other keys to the game here besides maybe the weather for an outdoor hockey game, Rick?
Well, that's the first one. Right off the top, you have to adapt, and you have to adapt to weather conditions, ice conditions, the lighting and the atmosphere in Comerica Park. The team that does that the quickest will have an advantage. Goaltending, in spite of a losing record this year, Nedeljkovic has a .911 save percentage. Jake Patterson, he's had 3 shaky starts for London, so he's desperate for a solid performance. And then London's power play. The Knights have scored 7 times in their last 16 opportunities with the manpower advantage back in September against the Plymouth Whalers. They went 1 for 5 in that game.
Not quite ready to drop the puck yet at Comerica Park in Detroit. There's a new Knight who used to be a Knight, making his debut and wearing number 21 in the jersey here at Comerica Park tonight for the Knights.
Well, Yakimowicz, he comes over to the London Knights, and obviously he's a lot like Tim Bender in the fact that he was playing at the midget level in the Pittsburgh area. So I'm not looking for Yakimowicz to make a whole lot of impact on this team this year. This is obviously a trade for the future, but it's a good move by the Knights to shore up their forwards this year and give that extra little bit of security
He played 4 games with the under 18 USD national development team, but also a regular with the Scranton Wilkes-Barre team, also called the Knights in the United States of America, of course, in junior hockey. But this Plymouth Whalers team, year in and year out, no matter where you look at the Western Conference standings, they're in the playoffs.
Well, the last 22 years straight, since 1991, this team has made the playoffs. They're going for their 23rd year straight in the playoffs. Now, they're up by 1 point on both Sarnia and Kitchener, so these are a big 2 points for the Plymouth Whalers in tonight's contest.
Of course, the Kitchener Rangers have 27 points. Sarnia Sting, 27 points. The Plymouth Whalers, 28. Interesting battle with December 10th and the trade deadline. We could talk about that forever as well, as the London Knights getting ready. Also, they have a strong possibility because the Erie Otters lost yesterday, lost today to Guelph, lost yesterday to Kitchener. The Knights are only 6 points behind the Otters.
Well, the Knights are trying to chase down the Otters, and there's no doubt that that's high on their list. They want to end up in that number 1 seed mark. There's no doubt. In the Western Conference, that gives them the playoff home advantage throughout the playoffs, and that's exactly what you're going to need. This Western Conference is rife with teams that could win it, and certainly you'll want to avoid one of those teams if you possibly can.
And Chris Tierney's really been on a roll too, maybe a bit of a redemption for him as well. The fact that he wasn't named to the Team Canada for World Juniors. He wasn't going to be one of the ones that were possibly on the list, but Chris Tierney's been on a big time roll for the Knights.
Well, Chris Tierney's taken a big leadership role for the London Knights here throughout the season. In fact, he goes out for all the ceremonial face-offs. He's a bit of a leader on this hockey club. Tierney's on a 10-game point scoring streak right now, so look for Tierney to play a big role in tonight's contest.
So it's Alex Nedeljkovic in net for the Plymouth Whalers against the Jake Patterson London Knights. Let's go to Comerica Park in the call of Pete Krupsky from Schoolcraft College.
Everybody fired up not only at the CompuWare Arena, but right here at Comerica Park as well.
Going to have a pregame ceremony and a color guard coming out. While we have a moment, we'll run down the other scores in the games this afternoon around the OHL. The other game here at Comerica Park earlier today, Windsor beat Saginaw 6-5. The Spits have won 3 in a row. Saginaw has lost 5 in a row. The other games, Guelph beat Erie 5-2. The Sioux continues to win. They beat Sudbury 3-1. It was Barrie 5, Mississauga 3, Belleville. Off to a good start in the second half. They hammered Kingston at 9-6. Guelph beat Erie 5-2. A couple of other games going on. Owen Sound at Sarnia and Ottawa at Oshawa. And you can see a ceremonial face-off, and you got to wonder what is going on in the minds of the players. I mean, they've been sitting around for a while, pretty much all day, but really a 7 o'clock start, they're used to that. But playing outdoors, got to be something special.
Well, and as you talked about, Pete, this is a scenario where these kids are just as excited as anybody else. I mean, they want to drop the puck. They know what's at stake. They know how hard they have to play in this second half. And there's, that giddiness that comes with it, as everybody does. I mean, this is really a unique setup here. And I think it's fantastic. We've talked about it with Mike Vellucci, amongst others, that when Ken Holland, went out and said about to set this up, he wanted to include everybody. It really is a celebration of what I consider, and I know you will concur, the greatest game on earth.
No doubt about it. You take a look at the Whaler captain, Nick Melissa. You follow the Whalers, you know he wears the C rather well.
Does everything that you would want a captain to do. Not only is he a mainstay on that Whaler blue line, he does all the little things, he leads by examples, and he'll do anything to help his team win.
Third team on the ice include linesmen Dave Foll and Kevin Hastings. Your referees, Ryan Carroll and Matt Parlett. The Whalers in their home whites will skate right to left as you take a look at the ice surface here at Comerica Park. The Whalers will start Zach Lorentz, Carter Sandlap, and Cullen Mercer up front, Josh Wesley, with Gianluca Curcarudo on defense, with Alex Nedeljkovic in goal. Here we go in the first period of Plymouth and London from Comerica Park. Glad you're with us. Puck out in the neutral ice area. It's picked up, and it bounced away from Brady Austin. Whalers keeping it briefly into the London zone, and Tierney playing it ahead, picked off by Cullen Mercer. Puck back to the London line, and here's Max Domi dancing right wing over the Plymouth line, and it's taken away by Gianluca Curcarudo. Mercer in front of the penalty box area draws it ahead. Plymouth and London scoreless, just underway here in the first period at Comerica Park. Chris Tierney the San Jose draft. Left wing in the Plymouth zone, put it to the slot area. That was taken away by Michael McCarron, young man from the Detroit area. McCarron behind the goal, plays it around on the right boards. London with some early pressure, back on the point, taken away, and the Whalers back with Connor Chatham over the London line to the right wing. Chatham playing it hard around the boards. It pinballs around on the other side. And the Knights bring it back to center in a scoreless game. Left wing jamming it towards the goal, but that was blocked. That was Matt Rupert for London. Plymouth back in transition. The captain and Nick Melisa to center, bringing it around the boards in the London zone.
Boy, Michael McCarron, you mentioned from Macomb, Michigan, Krupper, 6'6", 238 pounds. He's going to muscle into your zone.
Nothing fancy about McCarron, a power forward for sure. The puck goes into Alex Nedeljkovic, and he'll hold it for the Whalers and get a face-off in his own zone. 1:36 into the period and no score.
Well, Alex Nedeljkovic, for people that aren't out there, that aren't aware of what this kid can do, he is going to be selected very highly in the 2014 NHL draft. Mark my words. He's about as good of a young goaltender as you will find.
Puck around the right boards in the Plymouth zone. Platzer trying to play it in deep. Platzer, an important member in the London 3-0 victory over the Whalers on opening night back in London in September. Nedeljkovic back behind his own goal. Around on the left side, and Wesley playing up for big Liam Dunda. Checked off the puck in front of the Whaler bench area. Whalers bring it over the line. Francesco Velarde taking it in deep, but the whistle blows. Believe it's offside on the play. Play whistle dead. 2:03 into the first period at Plymouth and London from Comerica Park.
Well, Pete, one of the things about London is, everybody talks about their talent. I think sometimes people forget what makes that talent work is their work. I mean, this is a team that works very hard. I think you can see it both ends of the ice.
Well, if you don't work for the Hunter brothers, you're not going to play, no matter how talented you are. Tierney over the line and on the right side. They jam it out in front, and Nedeljkovic held out that redirect. They put it out in front of the goal. That was Tierney working out in front with Ryan Rupert. And Nedeljkovic made the stop.
Yeah, driving hard to the net there as well from the blue line was Dakota Murmis coming all the way in, an Illinois native. Pete, more and more kids coming out of Illinois, including a couple of Whalers hail from the state of Illinois.
Lorentz and Tierney on the draw in the Plymouth zone. Tierney won it. Puck behind the goal. And around on the other side in a scoreless game, 2:20 into the period. Kirkarudo finding a defense partner, Josh Wesley, on the left side. The Whalers will play it the length of the ice. They'll be called on the icing. 2:28 into the first period, a no score, Plymouth and London from Comerica Park.
Ryan Hartman from Illinois, Connor Chatham from Illinois, and of course Danny Vanderweel from Illinois as well. So you're seeing a lot of people, Pete, developing all over the United States of America now.
Knights won the draw, shot from the left point by Zach Bell. The overage stopped by Alex Nedeljkovic. And the Knights at the first three shots of this hockey game. We're scoreless 2:40 into the period. Puck deep into the London zone, and Chatham chasing his man behind the goal. That's Brady Austin. Well-traveled veteran in the overage for the Knights. Chatham working hard along the left wall. I expect Connor Chatham to really pick it up offensively in the second half. Wraparound by Mistley on the right wing side did not connect on Jake Patterson, a one-time Plymouth Whaler goaltender. Now Cruz Rudberg runs in his man as the puck goes back to the Plymouth line. Jones left side, right side for Melisa. And he played it in from the Plymouth side of center. He'll be called on a Whaler icing. 3:14 into the period, and no score, Plymouth and London.
Well, so much talent across the board for this team, Pete. That's one thing that the Hunter brothers have done very, very well is collect talent, and they're able to attract talent from all over the place.
Plymouth with Vanderweel, Vince Scognamiglio, and Connor Sills up front. Sills chasing it deep right wing and back behind the London goal. Scognamiglio there as well, digging it free. Wraparound left wing side, Scognamiglio. And the stop by Jake Patterson. Puck behind the London goal, they'll bring it out in a scoreless game. Puck bouncing into Whalers territory. This could be icing, and it is on London. Play whistle dead, a scoreless game. 3:38 into the period.
I like the effort there by the Whalers. They seem really intent, Pete, on trying to muscle the puck out from back behind the net and work their way in front. And I don't care what anyone says. It's one of the first things that you learn as a kid. If you throw the puck at the net, good things are going to happen. And that's what the Whalers need to do in a game like today.
Platzer and Velarde on the draw. Puck to the side of the goal. Velarde banging away at it, and it's back behind the goal. Played around on the other side. In a scoreless game, on the pinch and playing it deep was Kirkarudo. Back behind the goal, trying to wrap it around on the left side, and Patterson made the stop. Now Dunda bouncing puck right side, the shot, that was blocked. Following up, jamming it out in front was Brooke Hiddink, and that was taken away. Plymouth and London scoreless, 4:20 into the period. Puck back behind the Plymouth goal, Nedeljkovic directing traffic. Plays it around, back behind the goal to Kirkarudo. Gianluca Kirkarudo taking a long look. He'll go on the right side to Mitch Jones. Jones out center, Tyler Sensky for the Whalers, not Jones. Puck into the London zone. That's Sandlak chasing his man. Mercer holding it at the left point for Plymouth, and Sandlak involved, but now the Knights bring it back. Playing it into the Plymouth zone, but it's taken away by Matthew Henderson. Henderson on the right side to Cullen Mercer. He'll go back into the Plymouth zone for Melissa. Now Henderson at center. A long shot was blocked. Knights bring it back. Tristan Ellie to the right circle. A shot was blocked. Whalers cover up with Carter Sandlak.
Way to get back on that back check.
Whalers working hard. Here's Ellie. Tristan Ellie trying to play it out in front, but that was taken away. We remain scoreless, 5:15 into the period. Whalers look to change. Now the Knights with Max Domi. Snapped it on goal. Blocker stop by Nedeljkovic. Domi following up, put it to the side of the goal, and the Whalers will play it ahead. Puck back into the London zone. Matt Mistally on the forecheck for Plymouth, but the Knights bring it out. Here's Domi. Took the shot on goal. Might have handcuffed Alex Nedeljkovic for a second, but he hangs in there, makes the stop. Makes his fifth stop of the hockey game. We're scoreless, 5:38 in.
Well, one of the things that we noticed, Pete, in that first game here between Windsor and Saginaw is in the far end of what is now the London zone, there's a dead zone there. When the puck goes there, it just seems like the puck dies in the corner. So keep an eye on that through the first period and beyond.
Whalers bring it out on the rush. Connor Chatham. Played at an outdoor game last year while playing for Omaha in the United States Hockey League. So he's a veteran of outdoor play. Chatham working along the left corner, looking to dig it free. Now he's jostling with a London player. The Knights will bring it out. Up the left wing, Domi. Right side, Ryan Rupert. Worked by his man, will take it to the right corner. Try to play it out in front. Puck jammed out in front, but it was played away. Chatham back to center. And gaining the neutral ice area and carrying it over the London line was Matt Mistally. Plays it back behind the London goal. The Whalers look to change in a scoreless game. Mistally to the end wall, but it's taken away. Knights back in transition with Matt Rupert. Right wing in the shot, and the stop for Alex Nedeljkovic. He'll hold it, get a face-off. 6:36 into the period. No score. Let's take a break and come back. This is Plymouth Whalers hockey and the Ontario Hockey League from Comerica Park.
Of course, the Hockeytown Winter Festival is at Comerica Park in Detroit. Plymouth Whalers and London Knights are scoreless. Windsor earlier today beat Saginaw by a score of 6-5. And the reason I mention that, this is actually the fourth period of hockey already on the ice surface today. Arenas are used to that normally, but maybe not outdoors in a baseball stadium.
Well, not outdoors, and that's one of the first things that we talked about is adapting to the conditions, and you have to adapt to the weather conditions. It was 0 degrees and raining when the game started, so that's one thing that's against you right there. The ice conditions, we're not sure how well the ice conditions are holding up. We'll have to ask one of the players during one of the intermissions. The other thing is you have to adapt to the atmosphere, Mark. The atmosphere in the park and the atmosphere underneath lights. That's the first time these guys are playing underneath lights. So there's a lot of things to adapt to, and we listened to Pete Krupsky talk about a dead area in the boards. The players have to adapt to that. So there's lots going on in this game, and you talked about it before the game start. They have their eyes blacked out underneath the eyes. That's another thing that you have to adapt to. If you've ever wore black under your eyes, you can see that. and it's distracting for sure.
Knights are used to playing in front of 9,000 at Budweiser Gardens, but those 9,000 could almost be right on top of you inside the rink. If that's not the same case in Comerica, there's probably much more 9,000 there. We just don't really see them on the screen.
Well, it's interesting because I've been to an outdoor game. I went to the game at Wrigley Field between Detroit and Chicago a couple of years back. I think it was 2009. And when you sit down low, you can't see the puck. So what happens is, obviously, these fans are migrating into the upper stands when there's 25,000 people in the stadium and you don't see them in the shot that we get from Schoolcraft. Obviously, they're sitting up high in the stands so they can see the puck.
One thing we didn't mention at the top of the show whatsoever is the fact that this is only the second time these teams have played in the regular season. The last time they met each other was opening day.
Opening day, September 20th. The Knights win 3-0 in that contest, and Anthony Stolar started for the London Knights, and he gets the shutout in that game. Tonight we have Jake Patterson. Now, Jake Patterson's looking for a bounce-back game for the London Knights. He's only faced one shot in here in the early going of this contest. No scoring opportunities yet for the Plymouth Whalers. On the other hand, you have Alex Nedeljkovic. He's had 2 scoring opportunities against him.
They're playing again at Comerica Park. Let's go back to Detroit.
Watching. Say hello to everybody watching in London tonight. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. No score, Plymouth and London. We near the 7-minute mark of the first period. Matt Rupert hits the Plymouth line on the right wing, holds it up in the right circle. Moving in, getting the shot through a ton of traffic. And the Knights celebrating, but the referee waved off a potential goal right there.
It snuck in behind Nedeljkovic, and I don't know if it hit the far post, but I know it did not go in. I'm sure they'll take a look at it, Pete, but clearly you could see it in behind Nedeljkovic.
Rupert coming right in, took the shot. Nedeljkovic held his blue ice and a pileup in the Plymouth net area. And Alex Nedeljkovic, typical of his year, has been tested early and often. And look at Mitch Jones going after a London player.
Yeah, Mitch Jones, don't look at his size and let that fool you. He is not afraid to go after anybody. The kid is literally without fear, but you've seen them do that a few times here already tonight, this Knight team. They're going to go hard. You saw McCarron do it earlier. Rupert, you understand he's going to drive hard to the net, but it looks like perhaps the only penalty being called, it looks like we're going to go 1-1 here.
It's going to be Walichka for London, Jones for the Whalers, as Rupert went hard to the net, and then Jones and Walichka, a little OHL disagreement there.
Well, and just previous to that as well, Pete, you saw the Knights raise their hands in celebration, but from where we're sitting, clearly the puck rolled in behind Nedeljkovic. What I couldn't see, Pete, was if it hit the far post or just rolled wide, but it did not go in. We'll take a look at it via the replay here. Watch the puck in behind Nedeljkovic, absolutely far post, and then taken out of harm's way by Nick Melisa.
So we'll skate it 4-on-4. Jones for the Whalers off. Brett Walichka off for London. Time of the offsetting minors is 7:20. Plymouth and London scoreless. They played in a lot of venues in 23 and a half years, but never outdoors.
Well, this is the way hockey's supposed to be. As we talked about in the pregame, Pete, nice job talking to a lot of the players. I think everybody grew up at one point in time playing outside. Mike Vellucci played outside.
Yeah.
Look at that coat. What a nice-looking coat.
Well, he's always stylish, and I was going to wonder, is Mike going to be stylish with the suit, or is he going to be dressed for warmth? It's like he took care of both issues in good style. Typical good style.
Dale Hunter did the same thing on the far bench as well. We'll take a look at that London coaching staff momentarily.
Kearney to the puck for London behind the Plymouth goal in a scoreless game, being tied up and bothered by Kirkarudo. Kearney on the cycle. Puck back on the left point, did not connect for Brady Austin. One-time Erie Otter and Belleville Bull player for London. Wesley in neutral territory taken away. London back. The shot by Domi. And the save for Alex Nedeljkovic. 7:50 into the period. Josh Wesley for Plymouth back behind his own goal. Worked off the forecheck and Mistally playing it out neutral territory. Now the puck shot into the London zone by Kirkarudo. Mistally giving chase to the end wall. Being checked by his man. Puck taken away by Dakota Murmas. one of the really improved players for London over the last year or so, calendar year that is. From the penalty box area, Francesco Velarde dumping it in behind the London goal. It's picked up by Alex Basso. Started the year with Sarnia. Ryan Rupert over the Plymouth line, put it into a crowd, and now that's taken away. The Whalers back with Matthew Henderson. Right wing and over the line, Velarde to the right circle. A shot was blocked. Puck to the side of the goal, played away. That's Sandlack on the forecheck for the Whalers, but the Knights have it with Dakota Mermis. We remain scoreless, 8:45 into the period. The Knights have outshot the Whalers 9-2. Mermis out center ice for London. Melissa ran in his man as the puck goes in behind the Plymouth goal. It's picked up by Connor Chatham. Chatham on the rush, left wing over the London line. Will play it in deep, back behind the London goal and give chase. Chatham to the right wing, falling down. Tyler Sensky the shot. Right point was blocked. And Mermis plays it out center ice. Now Matt Rupert trying to play it ahead. Cruz Redberg takes it away, trying to hit his man in the slot area in London territory, but that was tapped away. McCarron, wide right wing over the Plymouth line. Walichka back on right wing, trying to play it back on the point, and the shot, I believe that was Basso, did not get to the Plymouth goal. We near the halfway point of the first period in a scoreless game, but not uneventful, Sean Baligan, here at Comerica Park.
No, you're going to see a lot of work here. You're going to have to work really hard to get a goal against both these teams tonight.
Melissa around on the right side, and it clicks to Kirkaruda. Whalers look to outlet it with Connor Sills. Melissa at his own blue line. Up ahead, Matt Mistley in front of the London bench, dumps it in behind the London goal. Jake Patterson, the London goaltender. Serving it out center ice, it skips back into Whalers territory for Henderson. Sills giving chase at the London line, but it's taken away, and Brady Austin plays it high in the air and back into neutral territory. Vanderweel, always hard working, plays it back into the Plymouth zone. Sills trying to get it out. Knights holding it in. That's McDonald playing it to the high slot, but that's tapped away. Zach Bell started the year in the East Coast Hockey League and acquired from the North Bay Battalion, playing it out center ice for London. Whalers bringing it back. Here's Velarde playing it back behind the goal. Brooke Hiddink giving chase along the left corner. Now Liam Dunda, left circle, left wing boards, battling with his man. On the cycle, Hiddink. He'll cycle still in the left corner for Francesco Velarde. That's Dunda there as well. Brady Austin and Zach Bell, a four-man scrum deep in the London zone. They'll hold it long enough to get a face-off with 8:59 left in the period.
OHL Hockey Town Winter Festival from Comerica Park in Detroit. The Plymouth Whalers and, of course, the London Knights here. Interesting action so far in this contest. In fact, the Knights have a decisive edge in shots on goal in the early going.
Well, shots on goal right now, 9-2 in favor of the London Knights, and certainly they've held the advantage with regards to scoring opportunities. Right here, Nedeljkovic makes a save. However, it does go off the lower post, and then Max Domi in. Oh, this is Ryan Rupert. Check that. Matt Rupert in on Nedeljkovic, and he makes another save. The London Knights out-chancing the Plymouth Whalers right now at this point in the contest, 4-0 with regards to chances.
You know, if you're at the stadium, you could probably see that red goal line, but not very decisive here on our screen here. It might not be as easy to see as it normally is in an arena.
Well, again, you have to adapt to that, and if you can't see the red line, or if you have trouble with the lines, and we have trouble with the lines, obviously, on our monitors here, but I'm sure in the building, it's easy to see those things.
For the Plymouth Whalers, I'm missing Ryan Hartman for this game at the World Juniors playing for Team USA. He's a first-round draft choice of the Chicago Blackhawks. So we also know, of course, the Knights are missing players, but two missing for the Whalers.
Well, two missing for the Whalers. Rathgeb is playing for the Swiss over at the World Juniors as well. And then you have, of course, Hartman playing for the U.S. side at the World Junior Championships. So two big pieces missing out of the Whalers lineup. And, of course, the London Knights with 5 pieces missing out of their lineup. You have Bender playing with the Germans. You have Horvat and Anderson playing with the Canadians. Stolar's got the shutout today against the Germans. And, of course, you have Mitch Marner, who's playing at the World Under-17 Challenge. And Marner actually scored 3 goals today in an 8-1 victory over Germany.
Of course, the Knights are also missing Christian Dvorak, that's injured as well. But one got to keep an eye on is Carter Sandlack, who's the Londoner playing for the Plymouth Whalers as an overager.
Well, Carter Sandlack was 17 goals so far on the season. The most goals he scored prior to that was 13 in a season split between Guelph and Belleville. So Carter Sandlock on a bit of a roll this year. And of course, he signed a contract just a couple of weeks ago with the Carolina Hurricanes. So this season is doing him exceptionally well at the OHL level. And Carter Sandlock is a bit of a slump right now. He hasn't scored in 7 games. So we'll have to see if Carter Sandlock can do it against the London Knights tonight.
They've dropped the puck at Comerica. Let's go back to Detroit.
Watching on this, what is now Sunday evening. Colin Mercer on the forecheck and a big hit behind the goal by Sandlack on his man, Dakota Murmas. Back on the left point, Kirkarudo a shot. Kicked away by Jake Patterson. Sandlack to the puck, deep left corner in the London zone. Reversed around on the other side, and Basso for London, looking for an outlet, playing it high in the air. Deep left wing. It's Rupert playing it ahead, and a shot by Domi did not get to the Plymouth goal.
Boy, those Knights defensemen are so smart, Pete. They each step up near side and far side, depending on where the puck is, to keep pressure on. And the Whalers have to be cognizant of that and try to chip it past them just as they did that last rush.
Murmas, the center for London. Tristan Alley checked off the puck in the Plymouth zone by Jones. The puck pinballs into Alex Nedeljkovic. He'll hold it, get a face-off. With 8:02 left in the first period. London and Plymouth scoreless. The Knights have outshot the Whalers 10-3.
Now, Alex Nedeljkovic, no stranger to shots this year, Pete. Routinely facing a slew of shots each and every game so far. Certainly that's one thing the Whalers want to improve on as the second half of this season starts.
Cruz Rudberg on the draw. The puck lay in the dot. Ellie trying to play it away, and Henderson plays it up the left boards, but not out. Matthew Henderson. Smooth skating defenseman for the Whalers, playing it around on the right wall in the Plymouth zone in a scoreless game. Tristan Ellie being checked along the boards deep in Plymouth territory by Henderson. They continue their little battle. Now Melissa involved as well in a scoreless game with 7:30 left in the period. Still in the Plymouth zone. The Knights doing some forechecking here and some cycling. Platzer to the right corner being checked by Henderson. That's Cruz Rudberg chasing his man, the puck to the slot area. Platzer a little redirect from the hash marks, and Nedeljkovic will hold it and get a face-off. They will not give London a shot on that little redirect. And the play whistled dead with 7:19 left in the period.
Well, and not a bad idea there by Nedeljkovic, as well as the Knights were really camping out, cycling, and had a lot of puck possession there. And Nedeljkovic wanted to end that.
Had a good look at the London coaching staff. They are dressed fashionably, but fashionably for warmth. Dale Hunter and his group do an outstanding job in London. And we always enjoy talking to the Hunter brothers. They scrum for the puck along the boards in the Plymouth zone. The shot from the point did not get to Alex Nedeljkovic. Jones chasing it back behind the goal. Now on the left point, Brady Austin took the shot. Looked like he tried to fire it wide. Wraparound on the right wing side. McCarron stopped by Nedeljkovic. They scrum for it deep in the Plymouth zone. Shot right point did not get through. Now it's back behind the goal, Walichka on the cycle, and back behind the London goal, the Plymouth goal it goes. In a scoreless game with 6:30 left in the period. Jones has a hold of his man in the left corner for Plymouth. Played around on the other side. The Whalers look to outlet it. They will with Connor Sills. Sills to center from Thunder Bay. He's played in a lot of cold weather. Puck to the side of the London goal. Patterson was knocked down. Looked like by a Plymouth player there. Maybe Stagnamiglio. And he disengages. Now the puck over the line, played away. London back in transition. Max Domi to the slot. Poke check nicely by Nick Melissa. Cullen Mercer, neutral territory and over the London line, plays it back behind the Knights goal. Zach Lorentz on it, but the Knights play that away. Domi on the right wing to center and over the Plymouth line. That's taken away. Domi followed up, played it back in the Whalers territory. Everybody gets on side. Sean, a bit of a chess match here in this one.
Yeah, you know what you're seeing is Nick Melissa, I think a really good shift there, Pete, not allowing London to really set up camp in the zone. Just a couple of simple poke checks, and the Whalers playing a patient game, trying to grind it out in that night zone.
No score. Now it's taken away by Chatham, but the Whalers will be called on the offside at the London line.
Should give a big hats off to the Schoolcraft college crew. They're doing a terrific job as the play-by-play man, Pete Krupsky. He's been involved in the Ontario Hockey League, Mr. Krupsky has since 1990-91, back when this team was called the Detroit Ambassadors. I don't remember the Detroit Ambassadors, but I'm sure you do, Rick.
I do remember the Detroit Ambassadors, and actually, Pete Krupsky's been involved with this team so long that he's watched them make the playoffs for 22 years straight. They're looking for the 23-year straight playoff appearance this season.
The Plymouth Whalers and the London Knights are kind of an interesting thing that the Knights have been on a roll, winning 8 of last 10, but Plymouth has only won 1 of their last 10 games. They're coming off a victory. But how important is it in a game like today to make sure you're getting all 4 lines regular action?
Oh, I think that's vital, and I think that's vital in any plan that you have heading into a contest like this. You're not sure what the conditions are going to be, so you want to get everybody involved in the hockey game. You can shorten the bench later on during the course of the contest. However, you do want to save those players and those minutes for the players that can score goals late in the contest in the event that you need that.
When the schedule happened last season, of course, the NHL lockout, we can talk about that because this is the OHL. Do you think some of the players maybe involved in the OHL last year were disappointed they didn't get to play the outdoor game and it got postponed by a full 12 months?
Oh, there's no doubt that this is a pretty novel game, and it's a pretty novel game for these kids to play in. I mean, the NHL has played in these hockey games now for years, and certainly it's been built up by the National Hockey League. I think there's approximately 4 or 5 games this year that the National Hockey League is playing. So the introduction of the OHL at this level, and for these players, it is very novel, and it's a nice thing for them to get to do.
And when it's all said and done, this is not an exhibition game, because we talked at the top of the show how important this game is for Plymouth. Sarnia played today, the Sarnia Sting did, and they're also battling with the Kitchener Rangers. Only one of those 3 teams will make the playoffs.
Well, only one of those 3 teams, and the Sarnia Sting happened to get into a shootout today, so they get a point against the Owen Sound Attack. That ties them now in the 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference with the Plymouth Whalers.
Whalers and Knights in Detroit. Let's go back.
Fans and Saginaw fans stay for this game as well, as they played a dandy of a game earlier, won by Windsor by a score of 6-5.
Right here, no score. Plymouth and London, 5:10 left in the first period. Tyler Sensky playing it into London territory. That's Sandlack chasing it to the end wall. Played around the boards. Sensky trying to hold it right point, fell down. Puck stays in London territory. Chatham trying to get there. Knights bring it back. Owen McDonald, right wing and over the line, will take it in deep behind the goal. McDonald being watched by Mitch Jones. Puck stays in Plymouth territory. The Whalers will dig it free. Chatham up the right side, plays it into London territory. Zach Bell for London, playing it off the right wall. It rebounds back into Whalers territory. Puck out center ice and Sandland. Dumping it into the London zone. On the forecheck for Plymouth is Connor Chatham, but the Knights will reverse that, play it out center ice. Victor Cruz Rudberg, we call him BCR, but he's picked off on the play, but recovering nicely for the Whalers was Gianluca Kirkarudo. John, it's always great to have that BCR in reserve in your closet or whatever. You might need it sometime to record a goal or 2.
Yeah, you know what? Keep dumping that puck in the corner and working it out. You've seen the Whalers do a lot of that, just dump and chase, trying to make things happen from back in behind that Knight blue line.
Vanderweel got run into behind the London goal. They disengage as the puck goes back in the other way. We remain scoreless with 3:45 left in the period. Left wing to center and over the London line, Vanderweel giving chase to the end wall. That's played away, but Melissa trying to hold it right point, but it skips out center ice.
And Pete, that's what I'm talking about. That previous rush, you could see the puck just kind of died in the corner, the far corner of the Knight zone.
I think the players, both teams, maybe trying to keep things simple here and just dump it in and try not to worry about the ice conditions if they do indeed deteriorate as the game goes on.
Well, and learn as well, because that's one of the things, Pete, everybody knows the home ice and, the play off the back boards or, where that soft spot in the boards are. And I think the guys are starting to figure out that far corner is a dead zone for the puck. It is really just stopping right now. But all in all, the ice is a really good surface.
It really is. Lorentz on the draw, and the Whalers will chase it deep into London territory. Connor Sills to the end wall, picked off by Zach Bell. Up the left side for Matt Rupert. McCarron a shot, stopped by Nedeljkovic, big rebound, and the shot by Austin was stopped by Nedeljkovic. He has stopped all 13 shots he has faced here in the first period. We're scoreless with 3 minutes left in the first period. Pete Krupsky and Sean Baligan reporting. The Schoolcraft College Sports Network with the pictures. We say hello to everybody and thank you to CN 900 Television. Knights have it back at the Plymouth line, and it's Brady Austin. Left point trying to pump it in deep. Puck held along the right wall by Nick Melisa. Take a look at Nick scrumming around for that puck. Whalers trying to get it out, and the shot from the point on goal. McCarron going hard to the goal, and Nedeljkovic makes his 14th stop of the hockey game.
Boy, Mitch Jones, I think he brought an extra provision of sandpaper here today. He has been tough in his own end. Pete, we already saw coincidental minors with number 6 involved. He's mixed it up with Big McCarron a few times, and the Whalers are going to need that. They're going to need somebody in their own end to play that physical game, and certainly Mitch Jones can do that. Only 5'10", 190, but don't let that fool you.
Tierney won the draw in the Plymouth zone. Domi playing it around on the boards. Now Cruz Rudberg playing it ahead, dumping it deep into London territory. Basso taking his time, no icing on the play. Basso around on the left side. The Knights will play it out from the penalty box here for Tierney. Right wing is Rupert. Now Dakota Murmas up on the rush, back behind the goal, put it out in front. That was played away. They battle for it in the right corner. That's Murmas for Tierney to the end wall. Tierney being checked by Connor Chatham, and Kirkarudo to the puck. Had his pocket picked by Tierney. Right side for Rupert. Getting the shot. Tierney out in front, diving and getting in front of the shot, the Whaler defender. And Plymouth back with Matt Mistely, playing it back behind the goal. Whalers working really hard and getting the puck out of their own zone shot.
Yeah, and you know what? They allowed Tierney to come out all by his lonesome. I think Tierney was even surprised.
Now Basso, a hard shot. He has a good shot and got the shot, fired it wide. No score, Plymouth and London, $1:20 left in the period. Puck to the right wing side of the goal, played away. Now Brady Austin picked off on the play, and it's out center ice.
14-3 shots on goal by the London Knights. A lot of puck possession, but the Whalers doing a good job, Pete, for the most part, keeping them away from the kitchen of the goaltender, Alex Nedeljkovic.
And neither team really finessing out there. It's dump and chase and go chase the puck deep in the other team's zone.
Yep. A lot of dump and chase going on here. Knights have been able to set up shop a little bit more. Whalers trying to muscle it out of the corner as they will here.
40 seconds left in the period. No score. Puck out center ice. Bounced away from Carter Sandlack. He'll play it back into the Plymouth zone. High slot. It's Henderson playing it ahead. That missed Lawrence. Sandlack in front of the London bench, and Henderson on the rush. Hits the London line. Connor Sills got the shot. Oh, and it went off the glove of Patterson and did not go over the line. It hit the top of the mesh above the crossbar. And the play whistled dead.
How many times do we say it, Pete? 5-year-olds. I mean, you know, I hate to go all Don Cherry with yo kids out there, but keep throwing the puck at the net. Watch this. Sills, I'm just going to let it go. Look at that. Oh, boy. Off the top of the crossbar and out of harm's way. Throw the puck at the net. Things are going to happen.
14.3 seconds left in the first period. Plymouth and London scoreless, but not uneventful. Puck bouncing to the Plymouth blue line, and Sills playing it for Sandlack. Sandlack back in the Plymouth zone for Gianluca Kirkarudo. And the first period is in the books here at Comerica Park. Plymouth and London scoreless. We're watching OHL Hockey Winter Festival from Comerica Park in Detroit live. It's, of course, the Plymouth Whalers and the London Knights. But, boy, those Plymouth Whalers, even though they're badly outshot in this game, almost scored with about 20 seconds left in the first period, Rick.
That's not exactly the way that Jake Patterson wanted to handle that puck towards the end of that period. So we'll watch Jake Patterson in the second period closely.
The first intermission continues on Rogers TV. Hockeytown Winter Festival live on Rogers TV. OHL action, the Plymouth Whalers and the London Knights playing in Detroit.
Obviously a neutral site game at Comerica Park, and Brett Walechka will now join us of the London Knights organization. I have to ask you the first obvious question, Brett. Really, what is the ice conditions and the weather like in Detroit tonight?
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I think with that delay there, it was a little sunny or something like that. So we kind of have to adapt to it. But I mean, both teams have to go through it. So that being said, you know, you kind of just block it out. We're athletes, and you know, that's our job. We adapt to things.
Brett, it's Rick Doyle. During that postponement this afternoon, did you guys get to the Comerica Park early, and what did you do when you got there?
No, we actually got the memo around 2:30 when we went down to the lobby, and we kind of just went back up, got something to eat, and then had a little nap there, and then kind of just headed over. And I can't really say enough about how they're treating us here and in the facility here.
So the facility's up to snuff. The ice is in good condition. How about the atmosphere inside Comerica Park? Lots of fans at the game in the upper stands? Brett, lots of people in the building in the upper stands at the game.
Say that. Can you repeat that?
Obviously, we're having some technical difficulties with Brett there, but it was nice to hear him say that the park conditions are the ice conditions are in really decent shape, and we heard the commentators on the Plymouth television also comment on the fact that the conditions at the park are good.
Yeah, unfortunately, it sounds like we have lost Brett Walechka, so you can go back and enjoy what's left of the first intermission. It is a scoreless hockey game between the Plymouth Whalers and London Knights on Rogers TV. Stay connected to what's going on in London live. Weekdays at 11 a.m. It's daytime. Rebroadcast at 5 p.m. Daytime on Rogers TV. Scoreless hockey game between the Plymouth Whalers and the London Knights from Comerica Park in Detroit. Let's get a bit of a nice feature background story. Here's Craig Turnbull from Comerica Park. He's a Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Olympia Entertainment. And here's an interview done with him earlier.
Now, take me through, obviously, this has been months and almost a couple years, I guess, now in the making. Take us through kind of leading up to the event kind of thing. Obviously, the excitement to finally see it kind of come to fruition.
Sure, lots of planning, almost 2 years in the making, working with folks like the leaders from the OHL and AHL, working with the GLI. As you know, we've got a couple of games going on right now. The fan zone coming together with all kinds of vendors and participants. It's been a lot of planning. We're happy to have it, and a beautiful day out here at Comerica Park.
Now, obviously, it's an outdoor game sort of thing. The weather comes into the element. How much is there still that concern sort of thing?
How about that? You know, it was too nice today. We actually set back an hour for start time, but everything's fine out there now. We'll be fine this evening. Actually had a little bit too much sun, created a few hot spots out there. For the rest of the time, tomorrow going to be a little bit cloudy, and it's going to be cool, certainly throughout the beginning of the week, so weather will not be a factor the rest of the way.
Take me through this fan zone, because obviously the idea is you've got games going on, but you want to bring the fans in and get them involved as much as possible. Kind of some of the things that the fans are kind of experiencing as they kind of go through.
Well, I think you see it. The Coke Zero fan zone was born when we got started. Mr. and Mrs. Illich said, we're going to have a special event downtown, do the fan zone better than it's been done at any other Winter Classic and Festival. This is the first time a separate sheet of ice compared to the big sheet out at the big house. So we came together with lots of partners to develop 5 days worth of 10 hours a day activity out here, from Snowzilla, a 30-foot inflatable, autograph signings from our alumni, both teams that are out participating here. We've got all kinds of inflatables and interactives, restaurants, local restaurants down here. 28 local bands will be performing over the 5 days in heated tents, which is a nice activity for folks to be a part of.
Now, take us through, obviously, the idea here is the Ontario Hockey League, for our broadcast purpose alone. Having the Ontario Hockey League, some other festivals, some other games have done, obviously, alumni game and a game itself. You guys decided to take a little further. Why?
Well, it was a big deal. Certainly working with Goose and his team at Saginaw and the league, it was very important to make sure that we represented all levels of hockey. This is a celebration of hockey. And to have the opportunity to have the USA-Canada thing, there's not a lot of places in our country that can do that and pull it off like we can in Hockeytown. So it was a very important part of the construction of this event, and we're quite proud of it.
And obviously the fan reaction and just the people's reaction in general to kind of get into. They're pretty into hockey this time of year, obviously for the Red Wings, but nonetheless to be able to take it into the elements.
Well, I think you've seen it throughout. I mean, the jerseys, all of the representation of all the different teams that are out here and a part of it. The Canadian-U.S. matchup has really gone deep. I've seen lots of couples with a Red Wings jersey on one person and the Maple Leafs on the other. It's really just an opportunity. And, you know, they come together around hockey. That's the beauty of the fans of hockey. They come out here, and it doesn't matter what team they're following. They just really enjoy seeing kind of it from its roots in outdoor hockey.
How many people are we expecting over the few days, obviously?
Yeah, so we sold 125,000 tickets over the 5 days. You may know 4 of those are doubleheaders, so people have the opportunity to come and go. As you can see, it's free access in and out of the fan zone into the ballpark. We make it as easy as possible for our fans. So we've got all of that. We still got a few more to sell for the alumni game, but we're hoping for a packed house for that game.
That's a Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communications for what's called Olympia Entertainment. His name was Craig Turnbull. He talked a little bit about some of the hot spots on the ice when the sun is out. Unfortunately, what would be seemingly a cold winter's day or a 0 degrees winter's day, and how it could affect the ice.
Well, I'm sure they weren't expecting to have sunshine in January heading into the outdoor games. So obviously they have a lot more to deal with than just what's going on in the background with the fan zone. It looked like it was fairly active there in behind everybody. However, the ice and the ice conditions are the most important thing that they're dealing with right now.
One thing Craig Turnbull talked a lot about is that fan zone. I've been to Comerica Park 2 or 3 occasions myself. I should have been there more than that. Hard to believe that stadium's already been open since 2000, anyone that follows Major League Baseball. So there's a look at the fan zone at Comerica Park. It is a scoreless hockey game. Shots did favor London 14-4 in that first period. We'll continue on Rogers TV. 30 minutes for every Friday home game throughout the regular season. It is the night's warm-up, brought to you by the Optimist Club of Byron. RTV OHL Nights is one place where you can follow us, but a lot of pregame analysis on the warm-up. That's on Friday night games throughout the regular season on Rogers TV. Back at the studio on York Street, this is the Hockeytown Winter Festival. Here's the play of the period.
Well, Dakota Mermis, he steps in there, and Alex Nedeljkovic makes the first save, but it goes off the base of the post right there. Now, Nedeljkovic faced 14 shots in that period, 7 of them scoring opportunities by the London Knights, but the score still remains 0-0 heading into period 2.
Interesting that the first game of the doubleheader today was a 6-5 win for the Windsor Spitfires, so this is a much lower scoring game. I wasn't going to imagine 11-7, but I thought we'd get a few more goals, but it is a scoreless game, as we saw in the scoring summary. Upcoming broadcasts on Rogers TV, well, it's an annual tradition. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day to play the Sarnia Sting. I think it started back in 03-04, maybe even earlier than that, but it's the Sarnia Sting, the London Knights, on Tuesday, December 31st. Note the game time, 4 p.m., so enjoy New Year's Eve with London Knights and New Year's Day with London Knights as they go to Sarnia for a 7 p.m. game on January the 1st. The first intermission continues on Rogers TV. Following every Friday game throughout the regular season, and oh, why not? Let's do it today as well. Pete James is getting ready for the wrap. We'll take your phone calls after today's game. You can also participate through Twitter, RTV OHL Wrap. We'll take your phone calls after tonight's game and some post-game analysis. But here we're Rick Doyle beside us. What's the pre-game analysis as far as what we might see in the second period?
Well, in the second period, based on Jake Patterson making that shaky save towards the tail end of the game, watch for London Knights to rally around Jake Patterson and try and limit the number of shots on goal. Patterson hasn't got a feel for the puck yet. He's only faced 4 shots in this contest, and you know that he's had 3 shaky starts prior to this one, so the London Knights will rally around him. As for the other end of the rink, Alex Nedeljkovic, he looked really strong in period number 1, facing 14 London shots, 7 of those scoring opportunities. So as advertised, Nedeljkovic putting in a very good performance here tonight.
Of course, with ice conditions possibly being a factor as well in this game, there was some sort of talk about possibly some extra cuts or scrapes into the ice.
Well, that could happen. However, everybody's talking about the fact that the ice is very good.
Let's go back to Comerica Park.
See what happens as we begin play in the second period. Plymouth and London scoreless, and here we go in the second period. The Whalers in their home whites, they'll skate right to left. Right point, Basso, the man with the big shot, got the shot, and the stop made by Alex Nedeljkovic. Whalers will bring it out. Connor Chatham playing it in for Sandlack. He'll play it to the end wall, and Zach Lorentz giving chase. Lorentz on the right boards, left point, Kirkarudo a shot. Wired it over top of Jake Patterson in the London goal. Just underway here in the second period. Plymouth and London scoreless from Comerica Park. Chris Tierney reorganizing for London back behind his own goal. Tierney starts it up, a stretch pass, missed Max Domi. It will go the length of the ice, and we've got a stoppage in play, 51 seconds into the second period, no score. It's our customary time of the broadcast, Sean Baligan. We say hello to the extended Whaler family, wherever you may be listening or watching tonight. We say hello to all the London folks who might be watching as well. Thank you very much.
Pete, I'm going to say hi to my dad. I can't help but think of my dad. My dad was always the guy that built the rink in the backyard. So hi, Dad, and thanks, Dad.
Outstanding. No score, Plymouth and London, but not uneventful here at Comerica Park. Right wing and over the line. The shot by Brady Austin with McCarron going hard to the goal. And Alex Nedeljkovic gets his catching glove on it. Will hold it and get a face-off. 1:06 into the period.
Boy, if you had a dime for every time you said McCarron going hard to the goal today, Pete, you'd be a rich, rich man.
For more about Schoolcraft College, we always encourage you to go to schoolcraft.edu. A lot of good information there. Maybe you're a young student, not quite sure what you're going to do in college, but Schoolcraft can certainly help you with that. Right here, Plymouth and London scoreless. The puck pinballing into London goaltender Jake Patterson. Knights will set it up back behind their own goal. Basso starts it up for London. To center and on the right wing and over the line is Matt Rupert, taken away by Melissa. Safe play by Nick. He'll play it deep into London territory. No icing on the play. Basso sets it up for London back behind his own goal. Will start up the breakout for London. Puck rattling in front of the London bench area. That's Ryan Rupert picked off on the play. Whalers will dump it back into the London zone. Really a chess match here in Comerica Park. Left wing and over the line. Domi a shot. And he wired it wide. Goes deep into Plymouth territory. Melissa looking for an outlet. Kirkarudo involved with his man. That's Matt Rupert. Domi takes it away on the left side. Max Domi. First round pick of the Phoenix Coyotes. Keeping it alive. Tierney out in front getting the shot was Matt Rupert. And Nedeljkovic got his stick on that, and the Whalers will play it deep into London territory.
Boy, we haven't had a chance to talk much about Max Domi, but I'll tell you what, he's really turning into a complete player is Max Domi. Pete, you know, he's listened to his coach about playing smarter. He's done a great job distributing the puck as well. 27 assists in 29 games amongst his 45 points.
Surprising he did not make the Canadian and national junior team.
Stunned. I'm with you there, partner.
And he's going to make the rest of the league pay over the second half, I'm sure. No score, Plymouth and London, 3 minutes into the second period. Puck up the right wing and over the Plymouth line, McCarron. And the Knights offside on the play. Other scores around the league, we'll get that going for you earlier this afternoon at Comerica Park. Windsor beat Saginaw 6-5. The Sioux beat Sudbury 3-1. It's a final in Sarnia. Owen Sound beat Sarnia 3-2 in a shootout. Guelph beat Erie 5-2. Belleville 9, Kingston 6, and Barrie beat the Mississauga Steelheads 5-3. Right here, no score, Plymouth and London. Mitch Jones around on the right side, and the Whalers will play it out center ice. That's Cruz Rudberg and Sills giving chase. Now the puck into the London zone. Played out, and McCarron in front of the penalty box area as it's getting noticeably cold here in Detroit. Puck into London goaltender Jake Patterson. He decides to hold on to the puck, and the Whalers will get a face-off in London territory. 3:34 into the second period, no score.
Yeah, Pete, I've noticed that as well. You're taking a look at some of the crowd below. All of a sudden, you're seeing blankets pop up and extra hats and coats pop up, and that's the way it should be. But it's just beautiful down here. I'm sure you've seen the backdrop here already today, folks. It really is a sight to behold.
Puck in behind the London goal, jamming it towards the goal was Danny Vanderweel, but that did not connect. Chasing it deep, right wing, Owen McDonald for London, but it was taken away, and Matthew Henderson playing it in the air, bouncing it into the London zone. Knights have outshot the Whalers 16-5. We remain scoreless at Comerica Park. Owen McDonald in front of the Plymouth bench area, drawing it back into his own zone. Owen McDonald up the right side. And the Knights will chop it deep into Whalers territory, courtesy of Chandler Yakimovitz, making his London debut and his OHL debut. Now the puck out center ice. Yakimovitz over the Plymouth line on the right side, got the shot. Stick saved by Alex Nedeljkovic. He'll hold it, get a face-off. 4:27 into the period. No score.
Well, they calling something at the end here, Pete. Let's see. I think it might be 1-1, or is it just going to be one? I can see right now you have Owen McDonald heading to the box. I think it's just going to be against Owen McDonald, and the Whalers are going to get their first power play opportunity of the game.
We're going to get that Plymouth power play in a moment. We're going to take a break and come back with the Whalers power play. No score, Plymouth and London. And from Comerica Park, this is the Ontario Hockey League with the Plymouth Whalers and the London Knights. We'll be back on the Schoolcraft College Sports Network after this timeout.
So it looks like the Plymouth Whalers will be having a power play as we come back to the action in a couple of minutes.
Well, the first power play of the hockey game, and the Plymouth Whalers back on September 20th in the first game in the head-to-head matchup against the London Knights. They were 0 for 3, so the first real opportunity here. But the story of the game so far has been Alex Nedeljkovic in my mind, Mark. Nedeljkovic has faced 16 shots in here in this game so far, 8 of them scoring opportunities by the London Knights, and he's stood tall. Now, he's no stranger to doing this night in and night out for the Plymouth Whalers, and of course a losing record, 10-22, but 8 of those losses came in one-goal games, 4 in a shootout, 4 one-goal hockey games. So Nedeljkovic, a .911 save percentage, he is the story so far at Comerica Park.
Maybe we shouldn't be surprised by this 0-0 score, because the North Bay Battalion with Stan Butler as head coach have scored only 99 goals. The only team in the league that scored fewer than that is Plymouth with 94.
Well, Plymouth Whalers, when you have Carter Sandlak with 17 goals, and certainly you have Hartman with 13 goals, they're the only guys that are in double digits for the Plymouth Whalers so far on the season. So they are a little bit offensively challenged. However, they do get the first opportunity here with the first power play of the evening, heading back into Comerica Park tonight.
Zach Lawrence actually has 15 goals, so there's 3 players with 10 or more as we get ready to go back to Comerica Park for the Plymouth Whalers power play. But you really like the play of Alex Nedeljkovic, and even in the intermission they were talking about it, the analysts for the Plymouth Whalers. We're talking about how, in fact, Nedeljkovic could be a first-round pick.
Well, if you think Zach Vucali is going to be the first goaltender selected at this year's NHL entry draft, and there's no reason to believe that Vucali's not going to be the first goaltender selected, then you can count on the fact that Alex Nedeljkovic is going to be close behind him.
The power play is underway for the Plymouth Whalers.
Ringing it hard around the boards, Mitch Jones, right wing into the London zone. That's Velarde trying to dig it free with Connor Chatham. Puck pried free, but Jones holding it. Left wing boards for Matthew Henderson. Henderson back behind the goal. Connor Chatham looking to spread it out, does. Left point for Henderson. Left wing boards for Chatham. Henderson again. And that's picked off by Tierney, but now the Whalers will play it back behind the London goal, and Plymouth has to get back on side. Knights with Max Domi, a much improved defensive player, on the penalty kill for London, dumping it deep into Whalers territory. Matt Mistely trying to dig it free out of the scrum, but Tierney played it back at left wing. The shot blocked, and Tierney picks up the loose puck, draws it back into his own zone. On the right side, Murmas put it to the Plymouth line. It's brought back by Jones on a Whaler change. Mitchell dump it around the boards in London territory. Knights bring it back, and Basso behind his own goal plays at the length of the ice.
Well, lots of puck possession here already, Pete. There's only 35 seconds left in this Whaler power play.
Whalers bring it out. Cruz Rudberg ringing it around the boards in London territory, held in briefly by Kirkarudo, but now the puck skips the length of the ice. Nedeljkovic putting it on a tee for Gianluca Kirkarudo, a guy that can move with the puck. 15 seconds left in the Whaler man advantage. Lawrence will take it back behind the London goal. Zach Lorentz hit by Zach Bell at the end wall. Bell took the puck away, will play it the length of the ice and into Alex Nedeljkovic. Nedeljkovic puts it on a tee for Kirkarudo.
A good kill for the Knights. That'll be it as McDonald's out of the box.
No score, Plymouth and London, 6:30 into the period. Now the puck out center ice. Melissa will pick it up, dump it wide of Jake Patterson. Chasing it, Connor Sills ran in his man in the corner. And the puck out center ice. Walichka picked off at the Plymouth line, and Cullen Mercer will chase it left wing and out of his own zone to center. Zach Bell takes over for London at his own line. And the Knights will play it ahead. Puck backhanded deep into Whalers territory. Played around on the boards. And Walichka playing it to the other side. Plymouth will bring it out with Brooke hitting. A man with speed over the London line to the high slot, but that was swept away. London back in transition. Right wing and getting the shot. The save made by Nedeljkovic. And the shot by Brett Walichka.
Now you can see why the Knights are going to have a tough time scoring, Pete. Every Whaler always back in that defensive zone, taking care of business in their own end.
They continue to scrum deep in the London zone to the end wall. That's Brooke hitting with Velarde. A wraparound right wing side. Patterson had to make the stop. Moving up on the pinch. Deep left corner. Kirkarudo in the London zone. Whalers a little bit of pressure here. Wraparound right wing side by Velarde. And that was stopped by Patterson. Whalers a little bit of pressure here. Al Dunda trying to hold it in the high slot. Kyle Platzer plays it out center ice and the puck pinballing back into Whalers territory. They continue to battle deep in Whalers territory. Tristan Ellie picked off by Mitch Jones. That's Chatham chasing it around the boards. Jones recovering back behind his own goal. Played around and it's picked off, but Dunda will pick it up, Sean, and play it out center ice.
Pete, it's you know what it's coming down to right now. You mentioned chess match earlier, and I think part of the chess match is who can out-cycle who. I mean, both these teams are trying to establish the cycle, and it's rough going deep in both ends.
But simple hockey and sometimes very effective hockey. And momentum builders if you do get that forecheck and cycle going. We remain scoreless at Comerica Park, Plymouth and London. Left wing, good speed coming in, getting the shot, and a good stop by Alex Nedeljkovic and Max Domi making it happen off the left wing.
Well, in Max Domi, as you mentioned, Pete, I think, I talked about Dale Hunter asking him to do more for the club, and that includes staying out of the penalty box, but you've really seen this kid get it done both ways, and especially, I mean, the way he's dishing the puck right now, Pete, he's a threat from anywhere on the ice, is number 16.
Plymouth and London scoreless. Sandlack over the line trying to hit Connor Sills. He got the shot. Right wing and the stop made by Jake Patterson. Knights bring it back. Center ice and over the Plymouth line. Going wide is Chris Tierney playing it back behind the goal. Goes around on the other side. Kept in at the point. Moving in left wing and jamming it on goal. A great stop by Nedeljkovic as the Knights set that one up on a redirect. Right point, Zach Bell. Teed up the shot. Block did not get through. Sandlack, for all his offensive prowess, a very good defensive player, and he got his body in front of that. Jones back behind his own goal. A scoreless game halfway through regulation time. Sandlack playing it out center ice.
I have no idea how that shot by Ryan Rupert didn't go in. It looked like he had the space, and Nedeljkovic somehow made a stop, Pete.
We remain scoreless. Wide right wing, Owen McDonald taking it back behind the goal, looking for a play on the left side. Back on the right point, Basso has a hard shot. There he took the shot. Hit the traffic, did not get through. Whalers trying to get it out. Now it's jammed up from behind the goal. Nedeljkovic will hold on to the left post and get a face-off. As I believe that was Tate Sagan jamming it from from behind the goal out in front. The save made by Alex Nedeljkovic.
Knights did a good job killing off that penalty that Owen McDonald took. One way you can kill off a penalty is by having strong goaltending. Jake Patterson, of course, is from the Sault Ste. Marie area, so I'm sure he's played a lot of outdoor hockey growing up.
Well, Jake Patterson certainly has played a lot of outdoor hockey, and he's had 3 rough starts for the London Knights, even though he's .500 in those 3 starts. But in tonight's contest, he hasn't faced a whole lot of rubber in here. In fact, he's only faced 6 shots so far, 1 scoring opportunity, and he bobbled that 1 puck onto the top of the net. Now, Jake Patterson is looking for a good game in here tonight. It'll dictate the number of games that he gets down the stretch with the London Knights, and certainly Patterson needs some shots to get back into the groove.
It's at least 2 years ago that he was actually traded because he was originally drafted by the Plymouth Whalers. Any kind of redemption factor still in the back of his mind, even though it's been a long time? And I don't even think he played a game for Plymouth, did he?
No, he played in some exhibition games for the Plymouth Whalers. In fact, a preseason game against the London Knights out in St. Thomas, it was Jake Patterson in goal, and that's really where that deal was consummated in my mind. However, I don't think there is any of that remaining. Jake Patterson is now a London Knight. Obviously, he's attended 2 Memorial Cups. He's won 2 OHL championships. In fact, last year he played the last 3 games against the Barrie Colts in that OHL championship series. So Jake Patterson certainly is a London Knight. So I don't think there's any residual with regards to the Plymouth Whalers any longer.
I should note, of course, that the backup goalie tonight is Liam Herbst of the London Nationals. But, of course, he was a highly touted draft pick of the Knights as well.
Well, Liam Herbst, he had 4 surgeries last year. He sat out the entire year. 2 surgeries on his knees, 2 surgeries on his hips, and they've got everything aligned now, and he's been performing extremely well with the London Nationals. In fact, for the month of November, he was the Junior B goaltender of the month, so that gives the London Knights some hope with regards to the future and whether they have some goaltenders coming through the system. Herbst has done that. He played 8 minutes in one contest against the Kingston Frontenac so far this season. They haven't called on him since. Now, in that game, he didn't look ready to go. Of course, he comes in halfway through the contest, and a lot of goaltenders don't look ready to go when they come in halfway through the contest. But you add into that his youth, and Liam Herbst, we hope he doesn't get called tonight.
Let's go right back to Comerica Park.
By the Whalers. And you can see by watching this game why Alex Nedeljkovic, the Plymouth goaltender, is rated in the A category by Central Scouting for the upcoming NHL draft.
Yeah, I think everybody saw it last year, and all he's doing is getting better, Pete. He really is. And, every scout you talk to, and certainly there are scouts aplenty that are going to keep an eye on this game. They have kind words about Alex Nedeljkovic, the Ohio native.
Melissa took a heavy hit behind the Plymouth goal. Will pick it up again in a scoreless game. Melissa hard around on the left boards. Matt Mistely also up for the draft. Worked off his check. Michael McCarron. Mistely over the line. And Mitch Jones up on the rush. They jam it out in front to the right wing side of the goal. Played away. And the whistle blows. And a stoppage in play with 9:11 left in the period. No score, Plymouth and London here in the second frame.
Well, we saw it in the first period, Pete. It doesn't take long to figure out how a game might go, and I think as the temperature has dropped, the offensive chances have as well, and we kind of had a feeling that this one wasn't going to be like the first game here tonight, a game won by Windsor 6-5. This is going to be a tight checking game all night long, with 9 minutes to go here in the second period.
And the temperature has dropped considerably since maybe around 3 o'clock this afternoon.
I think in the last 15 minutes it's dropped considerably.
No score, Plymouth and London, but that doesn't make it uneventful. Left wing to center, Sandlack dumping it into Jake Patterson. He decides to hold it, and we'll get a face-off with 8:47 left in the period.
Connor Sills had an opportunity late in that first period. As you take a look at the former Whaler, as you mentioned, Jake Patterson.
2 Jake Patterson in the league. One plays for London, one plays for Saginaw. Same name, different guys, and both goaltenders.
Yeah.
And both went to the Red Wings training camp at one time at the beginning of this year. Isn't that fun if you're a PR director? How do you keep them apart? I can. One's from Mississauga, the other's from Sault Ste. Marie. Connor Sills, he's from Thunder Bay for the Whalers, dumping it deep into the London zone. Back to get it, Alex Basso. Stretch pass at center, did not connect. It actually deflects into Nedeljkovic. He'll hold it, get a face-off with 8:14 left in the period and no score.
I like what the PR director for the Plymouth Whalers did a few years ago when they had a couple kids by the name of Tyler Brown.
Well, yeah, that was tough. We had to call one Tyler J and one Tyler G.
Yeah.
And we had to keep it somewhat dignified. You couldn't use nicknames or all that. So it was Tyler J and Tyler G.
One was an American, the other was a Canadian.
Indeed, and both were valuable in their own ways to the Whalers' cause. Puck back on the point and getting the shot. We're going to get a penalty on the play.
Absolutely.
Nedeljkovic was bowled over on the play. And let's see what's going to get called here.
Goaltender interference.
12:01. Shot back on the point. That was good. The shot from the point, good. The byplay out in front, not good.
Goaltender interference, Pete. No doubt about this. As we talked about, they've been going in the kitchen there. That's completely unabated. And you know what? He didn't do a good job selling that either. He tried to sell it, but they weren't buying that. Is that Platzer, I think, down there? The oops, I fell into the goaltender didn't work that time. So, as we mentioned, Pete, you can tell that they've been really earnestly trying to drive to Nedeljkovic to create some traffic, and they get caught that time.
Whalers on a power play. Kirkarudo left point, Cruz, Rudberg left wing boards. They work it around again. Brook hitting behind the goal, Matt Mistoli. In a scoreless game in Plymouth, working on a power play in the second period with 7:40 left in the frame. Cruz, Rudberg in, and the shot right on goal. Zach Lorentz from the top of the right circle, and Jake Patterson makes his 10th stop of the hockey game. Good puck movement by the Whalers there.
Yeah, Pete, no doubt about it. You could tell when Cruz Rudberg got that puck, he was centered across, and I think Patterson had that read as well, and it was a good reaction by Patterson to put himself in a position to stop that from Mr. Everything for the Whalers, Zach Lorentz, the young man from Waterloo.
Ryan Rupert won the draw, and Brady Austin for London will play it deep into Whalers territory. 1:20 left in the Whaler man advantage, and we remain scoreless. Hiddink, right wing at center, rings it around the boards in the London zone. Left wing boards, Lorentz playing it to the other side. Hiddink trying to hold it. The Knights will pick it up and play it the length of the ice.
Well, shots on goal 19-10 now in favor of the Knights. The Whalers have had one power play opportunity here in the second period, now currently working on their second.
Whalers have outshot London in the period 6-5. No score here at Comerica Park. Puck behind the London goal, they scrum for it. Connor Chatham trying to dig it free. It goes back on the right point to Zach Lorentz. Top of the right circle for Sandlap. Right wing Velarde. Francesco Velarde trying to play it out in front. It was blocked by Brady Austin. Now Chatham to the right wing boards. Still in London territory. Will take his time, move to the right corner, and still hold on to the puck. But that's taken away, and the Knights will play it the length of the ice.
A good job there, I think, by Brady Austin at 6'4", 225 pounds, Pete, to use that long reach to wreak havoc as the Whalers are trying to work that puck out from the corner with only 5 seconds remaining in this power play.
Lorentz will play it back behind the London goal. The Knights back at full strength right now. 5:55 left in the second period. Plymouth and London scoreless. Jones out of his own zone. Mercer will play it deep into London territory, but the Knights bring it back. Walichka playing it into the Plymouth zone, but the Knights offside on the play. Next game for the Whalers, New Year's Eve day in Windsor against the Spitfires. We'll take a break. No score, Plymouth and London.
They always call Detroit Hockey Town, so why not the Hockey Town Winter Festival, the OHL style, with London Knights playing the Plymouth Whalers. Still a scoreless hockey game. The Plymouth Whalers that have a couple of power play opportunities, and if you look at the league stats, both these teams are in the top 1/3 as far as penalty kill goes.
Well, there is, and the London Knights have done an effective job here. And if you go back to the first game of the season, September 20th, the Knights, of course, shut the Plymouth Whalers out 3-0 in that contest. The Plymouth Whalers had 3 power play opportunities on that evening, obviously came up with nothing. In here tonight, they've had the only 2 power plays in tonight's contest, so the Knights now have killed off 5 straight penalties against the Plymouth Whalers.
Dakota Murmur scored 1 goal in that game. It was a 3-0 victory. Quick, Rick, who had a pair of goals in that first game against Plymouth this year?
Well, that would have been Kyle Platzer and his first and second goals of the season, and one of those came actually with a power play, Mark. So the only power play goal in that contest was scored by the London Knights. They went 1 for 5 that night. Kyle Platzer got the goal.
That was a quick test for Rick Doyle. These teams actually only played each other 4 times in the entire season. Not really going to be any kind of playoff implications down the stretch because the Knights are trying to be the top seed in this conference. And boy, can they catch the Erie Otters? They got 1 game in hand, and I think they're 4 points back now.
Well, if they win tonight's contest, they do have one game in hands, and they will be 4 points back. However, the Guelph Storm won this afternoon's game against the Erie Otters, so that's the bad news. The Guelph Storm now have 55 points, so they now jump above the London Knights with regards to the standings. So the Knights need this victory in order to keep pace with the Guelph Storm and try and catch the Erie Otters. This is going to be a dog race right to the finish.
By the way, Carter Sandlak and the Plymouth Whalers make their only trip back to London since opening night on February the 9th. The London Knights will play one more time in Plymouth. In fact, obviously their only game in Plymouth, and that'll be on February 22nd at the Comerica Arena. Let's go back to Comerica Park in Detroit.
Plymouth and London scoreless at Comerica Park. We are nearing the latter stages of the second period.
Somebody's going to score a goal, Pete. That I can promise you. Somebody is going to score a goal.
It will happen for sure. There's never been a scoreless tie in the history of the Plymouth Whalers, and with shootouts and overtime, not going to happen. So I definitely agree with you, Mr. Baligan.
Did you ask David Branch about making the shootout go away?
I didn't get into that.
Maybe I'll talk to him later.
You should do that.
I will.
Meanwhile, back behind the Plymouth goal, Velarde looking for an outlet, playing it around to Mitch Jones. He'll play it back to the London line. Brady Austin playing it ahead. Max Domi back in his own zone, twisting and turning away from Danny Vanderweel. Max Domi being watched by Vanderweel. Domi playing it into the Plymouth zone, but it's taken away. Whalers will play at the length of the ice, still be called on the icing. Play whistle dead with 4:56 left in the period. Plymouth and London scoreless.
Sharp-looking jersey right there on a sharp-looking goaltender, Jake Patterson. Pete, we go to a trivia question.
When was the last time Plymouth and London played in Detroit? The first time was the first time the Whalers ever played a game, September 20th, 1990 at Cobo Arena. But they played another time a little bit later on. We'll have that answer in the third period. Basso right wing in his own zone for London. And the Knights will start it up on the right side. Ryan Rupert, neutral territory, hits the Plymouth line. Rupert wide on the left wing. Tried to play it into the slot area, but that's tapped away, and Basso back to get it for London. Plays it to neutral territory, that's taken away. Lawrence, checked by Basso, left wing in the London zone. Basso finding Ryan Rupert, playing it up the right side, and the Knights with Tierney missing the pass. It'll go the length of the ice. And London called on an icing with 4:11 left in the period.
Yeah, you mentioned that first game, Pete, Cobo, right? About a mile away from here?
Cobo Arena, and a 5-0 London victory. Sean Basilio, there's a name out of the past for some of you London viewers, pitched the shutout.
Boy, have we had some epic matchups between these two teams.
Not to mention last year in the Western Conference Finals.
Sure.
The Whalers in the final game down 4-0 in London, came all the way back to tie it, sent it in overtime, and lost in heartbreaking fashion. Max Domi 20 seconds in. And that was all she wrote for the Whalers.
Tom Wilson had a pretty good series, as I recall. Pete, correct me if I'm wrong.
Tom Wilson is doing well in Washington. I talked to him at the Christmas holidays, and he wishes everybody in Plymouth all the best, but he has a plan to stay with the Capitals. Can't blame him for that.
No, you can't.
Puck behind the Plymouth goal, pried free, but the Knights have it on the right side. Walichka doing some cycling with Owen McDonald. Played around on the other side. Tate Sagan around the boards. The outlet for Connor Chatham clicks. Left wing, Mistalik. Back behind the goal. That's Matthew Henderson up on the play. And the puck out center ice. Melissa back to get it for Plymouth. We remain scoreless with 3:20 left in the period. From the penalty box area. Henderson playing it ahead. Taken away. In transition, Walichka tees up the shot. And fired it wide. Lively Karam goes out center ice and back to the London line. Tate Sagan, no relation to our good friend Tyler Sagan, playing it around the boards. People ask, we have to have that information. McCarron around on the left side. Left point, the shot by Murmas. Not sure it got all the way through. The Whalers blocking shots in front of Nedeljkovic around that blue ice area. Now Plymouth out to center. Brooke Hiddink over the Plymouth line. over the London line, took the shot. Glove stop for Jake Patterson. He'll hold it and get a face-off. The shot by Hiddink from the right boards.
Pete, you see 24 on the screen. I think he's been one of the best players, if not the best player on the ice. It just seems whenever he's out there tonight, things are happening. He's using that big body, and of course we're talking about Michael McCarron. Pete, he hasn't been prolific this year. He's only got 13 points in 33 games, but certainly he's using his size to an advantage, and he's been a force here tonight.
In this league, that's always important. We're going to get a penalty on the play, a delayed call. And it's touched up by Plymouth. It looks like it's going to be a Whalers penalty at 17:28.
Hook it is.
And this is going to
Connor
be
Sills.
Connor Sills off. Time of the penalty, 17:28. The Knights work on the power play. They're second in the league at 27.5%. The Whalers fourth in the league on the penalty kill at 82.6%.
Boy, doesn't that just seem like that's been a staple of Dale Hunter coach teams, Pete, ever since he took over? It just seems like they are prolific via the power play.
Well, they have a ton of skill on that team, and the Hunters know what to do with it, with the extra man.
Well, that'll help a power play when you have a lot of skill, and that's one thing that, again, a testament to the job that the Hunters have done. And as we talked about in the pregame, Pete, is they're going to do a little repair work downstairs, a testament to both of these proud franchises. Mike Vellucci has done a tremendous job now, Pete, for over a decade at the helm of the Plymouth Whalers. Unless we forget, Pete, he holds the hats here for Plymouth. And Dale and, of course, Mark Hunter have done unbelievable work as well for the London Knights, two of the premier franchises in this Ontario Hockey League.
There was a time, Sean Baligan, when the London Knights struggled like a lot of teams in the OHL. I distinctly remember a year the London Knights won 3 games. They went 3-60-3 in 1995-96, but things have certainly turned around since the Hunters taken over, and they're a guy that's really set a high standard for himself and a lot of people, Mike Vellucci.
Just a guy that loves the game of hockey and has done so much for the game of hockey here in the Detroit area. And there's Dale Hunter. Don't let that gruff exterior fool you.
Nice guy.
He really is.
Loves to talk hockey. When we're playing at CompuServe Arena, Sean Baligan, he likes to sit in the CompuServe Arena media room and talk to everybody. And there you see the Comerica Park workmen there, and looks like the linesman helping out, trying to get this ice fixed. Our third team on the ice, the linesmen, Dave Foll and Kevin Hastings. Your referees, Ryan Carroll and Matt Parlett.
I used to do a little radio show, hockey radio show, locally here in the Detroit area, Pete, and whenever we called Dale Hunter, he responded and he would appear on the show oftentimes. So you always appreciate that.
Knights on a power play, the penalty to Sills at 17:28 in a scoreless game late in the second period. Melissa back behind his own goal, and Zach Lorentz will play it into Jake Patterson. The London goaltender will put it on a tee. Knights started up. Alex Basso, a man with a big shot, starts it up the overage. To center ice and over the line. Domi playing it to the end wall. It caroms around on the right side. Basso right point. Right wing boards to Domi. Now Tierney. Top of the right circle for Domi. Left side to Basso. Domi asks for the puck to the high slot. Shake and bake at the high slot. Right wing and tight. Tierney out in front. Backhand shot. Great stop by Nedeljkovic. Was that Rupert out in front, Sean?
Yeah, Tierney's going to get one here. You watch, Pete. I think right at the end, Tierney trying to make something happen. He got out a slash, and it looked like they were pointing at him. Now let's see if they yank him out. But just a great vision here by Tierney. Look at him get that out and tries to go to the backhand. And you see how smart Nedeljkovic is. He takes that step out and takes it away. Now let's see if they're going to get Tierney here, because they pointed at him, but I didn't see the arm come up. Nope, they're gonna keep it the way it is right now with a $1:18 left. Now look at Tierney come across, and oh boy, that's a slash right in your living room. That's why Kirk Aruto did the old oops and gave him a couple chops to the lower back.
Knights remain on a power play. They win the draw, and Basso at the right point. Right wing boards to Domi, trying to play it. That's taken away. Domi again, ripped the shot off the shoulder of Nedeljkovic. made 23 stops here tonight for Plymouth. Pride Free and Cullen Mercer, rookie for the Whalers, playing at the length of the ice. $1:30 left in the period. And London continues on the power play for another 50 seconds. Basso, left wing over the line, snapped it on goal. Nedeljkovic to stop. And the rebound. Played over top of the goal. Net has been sharp tonight, that is for sure.
Boy, had to be really sharp on that shot from Domi on the previous rush, Pete. Domi's release, I think everybody knows how quickly Max Domi can release the puck. Although we talked about how many helpers he has already this year, he's also a guy that has 18 goals in this, his 30th game.
Face it off to the right of Nedeljkovic. 1:18 left in the period. Knights on a power play for another 45 seconds. Murmas left point and back behind the goal. Big Mike McCarron playing it around on the left side, and Murmas left point could not hold on to the puck. It skips out back into the London zone. Murmas back to get it, finding Brady Austin. Austin playing it ahead. That's picked off. Right wing McCarron over the Plymouth line. Will hold it along the right boards against his check. In the final minute of play in the second period, a scoreless game. Platzer, right boards. Holding on to it. Will spread it out. Right point. They play it in deep. Wesley trying to knock it down. McCarron trying to get a shot. That was blocked. Left wing Brady Austin along the left circle. Platzer taking a look as the Whalers get back to full strength. Now they play it back behind the goal. Bit of a pick play by McCarron there. Brady Austin, right point, fakes the shot. Lawrence playing without the stick. Murmas back to Brady Austin, got the shot. Blocked out in front. Nedeljkovic will play it to the corner. McCarron hit the side of the Plymouth goal. Now the shot. Block did not get through, and the Whalers continue to block shots. McCarron, one more try. Back behind the goal, and we are scoreless after 40 minutes of play. Boy, the Knights had something going there in the final 30 seconds.
Yeah, they sure did, Pete. I mean, even though the power play expired, as you mentioned, Zach Lawrence lost his stick, so the Whalers were really scrambling around in their own end in the waning moments, but to the surprise of absolutely nobody, no score after the 2 periods of play.
Shots on goal. You're watching Hockeytown Winter Festival. We're at the studio in London, of course, on Rogers TV. Mark Schadenberg alongside Rick Doyle. I want to do a quick clarification on the goaltender situation and Alex Nedeljkovic, the goalie for the Plymouth Whalers.
Well, certainly we thank the Flyer fanatic who's watching in tonight on Rogers Television for correcting us. Zach Vucali actually was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens. So Alex Nedeljkovic is the only A goaltender on the NHL preliminary list for this year's NHL entry draft.
And just to further clarify, among all CHL teams, the second intermission continues on Rogers TV. Following every Friday home game throughout the regular season, and we'll do it today as well. Be sure to stay tuned after this broadcast of the Plymouth-London Hockeytown Festival game for the wrap. I'll be on the panel along with Pete James. We'll take your phone calls and a lot of post-game analysis and talk about what's going on around the Ontario Hockey League on the wrap following today's game. I'm Mark Schadenberg alongside Rick Doyle, trying to see if we can get Chris Tierney on the line from Comerica Park in Detroit. Of course, it's a scoreless hockey game through 40 minutes of play. Maybe we weren't expecting, as I said earlier, an 11-7 game, but maybe somewhat surprising it's a 0-0 game so far, Rick.
Well, it is a little bit surprising that it's a 0-0 hockey game. Obviously, the conditions are very good at Comerica Park, and we just checked the weather forecast. It's -2 in Detroit right now, and with the wind chill, it's -6. So ideal conditions as far as the players are concerned. Doesn't look as though it's raining any longer, so that is no longer a factor in the contest. But Nedeljkovic putting in a very good performance in here tonight. We've counted 7 opportunities in each period for the London Knights, so 14 scoring opportunities against Alex Nedeljkovic. He's only faced 26 shots in here so far in this contest, so very quickly Nedeljkovic becoming the story of the contest.
Yeah, shots to goal 26-13. Let's try one more time to get Chris Tierney at Comerica Park in Detroit. Chris, are you there now? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear some stadium sounds as well around you, Chris. First of all, now that the 40 minutes have been played in this game, and of course there was a game earlier today, just give us an idea what the ice conditions are now like at Comerica Park.
Yeah, whenever you're playing outdoors, the ice conditions aren't going to be great, but they got to play on the same ice we are, and one team, and hopefully us. We got to find a way to be able to get more pucks to the net, and I thought we were doing a pretty good job, but we got to find a way to beat their goalie. He's playing well.
Chris, preparations in the back half of the season. It's Rick Doyle here with this question. Do they change at all for the London Knights in the back half of the season, understanding that you have to chase down the Erie Otters and understanding that the Guelph Storm are keeping pace with you?
It's a great Midwest division, and the West is really strong this year, and there's a bunch of teams battling for a top spot, and you got to be on your game every night because if you lose 2 points, there's a good chance Erie or Guelph or another team's going to get to. So you got to be on your game every night, like I said, and the second half really want to bear down and come out of these tight games with victories instead of losses.
I'm sure you can't see it, but your full season stats are on the screen below your chin there. But in the last 21 games, you have 12 goals and 23 assists in the last 21 games. Just talk briefly about some of the things that are going very well right now for yourself and your line.
Yeah, it's easy to, get points when you're playing with guys like Max, Ryan Rupert, Mitch Martiner. He's a great rookie. And, I think me and Martiner and, Max and Ryan, we've all had good chemistry together. Like me, Max, and Ryan, we've been playing together for 4 years with Ryan now. And, we kind of know where each other are on the ice and, give a lot of credit to them because, it's really easy playing with those guys.
Chris, you're heading to your third Memorial Cup in a row. How important is it going to be for the London Knights to go deep in this year's playoffs?
Yeah, it's not something we want to do to go in backdoor. This is a winning franchise, and we don't take losses very good here, and the culture here is winning, and that's what the Hunters do, and that's what we like to think we do, and anything less than an OHL championship and a Memorial Cup championship is going to be a disappointment for us.
We thank Chris Tierney for joining us, a second-round pick of the San Jose Sharks in 2012. Thanks to Chris Tierney. The second intermission does continue here on Rogers TV. Before every Friday home game throughout the regular season, at 7 o'clock, tune in for the warm-up, pregame analysis, pregame interviews, so much more on the warm-up. It's brought to you by the Optimist Club of Byron. Back at the studios in London, it's a scoreless hockey game at Comerica Park in Detroit between the Plymouth Whalers and the London Knights. Earlier today, there was supposed to be a game at 1:30. It was delayed till 3 o'clock. Windsor ended up beating Saginaw by a score of 6-5 in that game. In fact, it was a shorthanded goal, about 5 minutes left, by Stephen Janes that was the winner. Our game was supposed to start at 5 o'clock. It ended up starting at 7 o'clock. And now it's Mark Schadenberg alongside Rick Doyle. We welcome in David Branch, the Commissioner of the Ontario Hockey League and also the President of the CHL. Rick?
Well, David, Rick Doyle here. You did have a 90-minute delay. What were some of the concerns that you were faced with, and how did you come to the decision to delay today's hockey game?
First of all, hi, Rick and Mark. Good to have you with us, and appreciate the always support of Rogers. Going into this, we made it very clear that the safety and best interests of the players was always first and foremost, and of course our team supported that. And what we were faced with off the top was the sun popping out, creating a real glare that would have been in the eyes of the one goaltender at the start of the game. So we just felt that we had to wait until the cloud cover moved in a little bit and the sun kind of moved away, and we had to delay it until 3 o'clock. And it worked out perfectly, because at 3 o'clock the sun did move away and clouds came in, and it was actually perfect conditions for the Spitfire and Spirit game.
Well, David, you had 25,000 people was announced with regards to attendance at the first game. This is the first venture outside for the Ontario Hockey League. Will this lead to more opportunities in the future?
In terms of outdoor games, Rick, I think that what we recognize is that the ideal scenario is to be able to partner with the National Hockey League. It's such a huge undertaking, and when you're, on the outside looking in, you don't recognize everything that's involved. And the model that the NHL has created is just beyond belief. And to have the invitation from Detroit Red Wings and Comerica and Olympia Entertainment and so forth really meant so much. And hopefully at that point in time when an outdoor game is awarded to Ottawa or Toronto or Buffalo, that those centers that are in proximity to our footprint, that we'll have an opportunity to partner once again.
Mr. Branch, Mark Schadenberg here. I have a question. In Cape Breton right now, the Under-17 World Challenge has just started. Is that going to be sort of on your itinerary over the next few days to fly out to Cape Breton, both as the OHL Commissioner and CHL President?
Well, Gilles Courteau, the Commissioner of the Quebec League, is over in Sweden supporting the Under-20 national junior team for Canada with the outdoor game. I wanted to be here, and I also am looking forward to the opportunity to travel to Sydney and take in the Under-17 event. I've been there a couple of times. It's great hockey, as I'm sure all of you recognize, and it's a great opportunity to see the next wave of special young talent that will be coming into the OHL and CHL.
Always a busy time of year around Christmas. Of course, a trade deadline right around the corner. But a lot of focus for the younger players, especially the 17-year-olds, is Calgary on January 15th in the NHL Prospects game. Give a nice plug for, what that means to the scouts and everyone involved in the NHL level and the OHL and CHL level.
Yeah, I think, Mark, you were talking about the top prospects game. I'm sorry that you're kind of cutting in and out, but plans are really going well in Calgary. Great support from the Flames. The WHL is the host league, of course. And the top prospects game has become such a featured item on the young players, draft-eligible players calendar. And the number of players that have been drafted that have come through that game now since 1996 is phenomenal. And it really does present those players that are going to be taken, at the top of the NHL class for sure when the entry draft is conducted in June.
David, how important is it for the Ontario Hockey League to have parity in the league? We watch the Western Conference, and there's one of any 4 or 5 teams that could come out of that. And then you go over to the East, and there's probably 4 or 5 teams that can come out of that. Is this what you're working towards, parity in the league, so that we have games that are meaningful right through?
Well, parity really, I think, does so many things, Rick. And I think, first of all, you recognize as a coach that it really does help players develop. When you play with and against players that are good and of equal ability, when you have to show up every night to compete. And I think the parity is also an illustration of our teams and the work we've done to attract some of the best hockey coaches and managers and support people there is in our game. And it's been a great aspect of the evolvement of our league, where we've seen so many former players come back now and fill roles in ownership, management, and coaching and the like, which serves, I think, to build interest and parity, as you touched on. It's been really, I think, a great ingredient to our overall success.
We certainly thank Mr. David Branch joining us here in the second intermission, the OHL Commissioner and the CHL President. Thanks to Mr. Branch joining us. The second intermission, still a scoreless hockey game on Rogers TV, featuring the Plymouth Whalers and London Knights from Comerica Park. It is Hockeytown Winter Festival. Oh, and I guess they're going to have some marshmallows just outside the arena, just outside the stadium. We'll continue here on Rogers TV. OHL Hockeytown Winter Festival. It's a scoreless hockey game in Comerica Park between the Plymouth Whalers and the London Knights. The Knights still have 2 more games coming up when you can essentially call the Christmas season. It's the home and away traditional series against the Sarnia Sting. It actually started back in 02-03. They do play on New Year's Eve, Tuesday, December 31st at 4 o'clock, and then back in Sarnia the very next day, January the 1st at 7 p.m. Getting ready to go back to Comerica Park, and it's Hockeytown Festival on Rogers TV.
The Whalers a big part of that, and we thank again Colleen, Ralph, and everybody at CN 900 Television for their contribution towards the Whalers. Third period about to start. Plymouth in their home white skate left to right with Alex Nedeljkovic in goal, Gianluca Curcarudo and Josh Wesley on defense, Connor Sills up front with Carter Sandlack, who gets a shot right off the face-off. Save for Patterson and Zach Lorentz out there with him. So the Whalers right off the bat, a good shot. Lorentz working right boards. Right side for Stanlack, got a shot fired it wide. Sills chasing it around on the left side. For Lorentz, Lorentz along the left wall, being checked by Ryan Rupert and the puck out center ice. Tierney on it, but it was tapped away by Kirkarudo and the puck out of play and into the bench area. 29 seconds into the period. We are scoreless.
Well, Chris Tierney is always dangerous as well. The young man from Keswick, Ontario, actually leads the Knights in points scored with 49 points in 35 games.
Originally a pretty good defensive player, but he's turned to the offensive side as well. In the San Jose draft, is a very good two-way player for Dale Hunter and company. Whalers started out, Mitch Jones taking a long look. He'll dance to center ice. Jones rings it around the boards in the London zone. Chasing it on the right side, Chatham. They continue to battle, and the Knights bring it out with Matt Rupert. Gains center with it on the right wing and over the Plymouth line. Got the shot and fired it wide. Chatham digs it free for Plymouth. Playing it up the middle for Cruz Rudberg. Mistily chasing it to the end wall, but Patterson gets there first, and the London goaltender plays it around for Matt Rupert. Now Ellie, right wing and over the line. Walichka lost the handle on it. Plymouth back in transition. Hiddink over the line with Mistily. He got the shot right on goal. And the stop by Jake Patterson. And if the Whalers are going to be successful in the second half, somehow Matt Mistily is going to be involved with it, I'm sure.
Well, just keep throwing the puck at the net. Again, Pete, their best opportunity of the game was Sills from about 40 feet away that seemed to handcuff Patterson and hit the top of the crossbar. Just keep throwing the puck at the net.
They score! They score off the face-off. Velarde won the draw, and it was a shot from the right point by Henderson. And the Whalers take a 1-0 lead. Couple of Whaler pups combined for the goal there.
Pete, sorry to talk over it. That's exactly what happened. There it was right there. Keep throwing the puck at the net. We talked about the offensive prowess of number 24, Matthew Henderson. Just watch him let loose here. Boom. Don't know if that got tipped in front, Pete. I couldn't tell. Maybe the Whaler crossing over in the mid-slot area got a piece of that, but it starts with that shot from Matthew Henderson. Throw the puck at the net, and good things are going to happen. Maybe Velarde got a piece of that. I'm not sure. We'll wait for the official call.
Time of the goal, 1:38, and the Whalers lead 1-0. Danny Vanderweel, left wing over the London line, takes a shot from rather far out, but Jake Patterson makes the stop. So the shot from Henderson looked like on the replay might have changed direction. That might be Velarde's goal. We'll wait for the official call.
And I think they're taking an extra long look at it upstairs to see what that official call is as well, Pete. But, just on cue, throw the puck at the net, things happen. Boom. Matthew Henderson does that, offensive-minded defenseman, and the Whalers take a 1-0 lead.
Face-off in the London zone. Lorentz trying to win it. The Knights bring it out. Up the left side and over the Plymouth line, Max Dolman. Into the slot area, got the shot. Stopped by Nedeljkovic.
I say Danny Vanderweel was the one that got the stick on the puck in the mid-slot area, Pete.
So Henderson will draw an assist along with Velarde. 1-0 Plymouth. 2:20 into the period. Cruz Rudberg giving chase, and the Whalers bring it over the line with Matt Mistily. Takes it along in the right corner. Cruz Rudberg on the forecheck trying to get into Dakota Mermis. But the Knights will bring it out. To center. And over the line, Tate Sagan picked off at the Plymouth line by Victor Cruz Rudberg. Right wing and over the line, Matt Mistily jamming it on goal. Patterson the stop. Mistily put it out in front. The Knights will have enough of that. Rip it the length of the ice. And all of a sudden, Sean Baligan, the Whalers have a little jump in their skates, up 1-0.
Well, and they're not sitting back, Pete. It really started with the first shift of this third period. It was the Sandlack line. Sandlack, Sills, and Lorentz went out there and really set the tempo, I thought, for the first shift, Pete.
Face it off to the left of Jake Patterson. 1-0 Plymouth. Velarde won the draw. Brooke Hiddink chasing it with Velarde. They go to the left corner, and Zach Bell brings it out for London. Puck out center ice. Owen McDonald battling with his check. The late offside on London, so a free breakout for the Whalers, and Hiddink put it out center ice. Now it's cleared back behind the Plymouth goal again. Matthew Henderson, right side for Hiddink, putting it out neutral territory, taken away by Tate Sagan. Playing it back behind the Plymouth goal, Nedeljkovic, picked off by Owen McDonald. McDonald checked at the end wall by Matthew Henderson. Played around on the left boards, and the Whalers bring it out with Vanderweel. He'll gain center with it, dump it in behind the London goal. 1-0 Plymouth, 3:30 into the third period. Sagan finding Owen McDonald. He'll gain the Plymouth line, go wide right wing, tee up the shot, right on goal. Nedeljkovic juggled it, will hold it in the blue ice and get a face-off.
Well, not a bad idea there by the Knights, because I think the player that took that shot, Owen McDonald, knew that he had that big body, Michael McCarron, drive into the net, and there was a little garbage out in front, and Nedeljkovic had to be very careful to corral that in to get the draw just to his left.
Walichka won the draw but in the Plymouth zone, but it skips out center ice. 1-0 Whalers. Dakota Murmas left wing and over the line, and Rupert got the shot towards the goal. Nedeljkovic got a piece of that. Chatham trying to get it out. Plymouth will get it out with Nick Melisa playing it out center ice. Knights try to bring it back, picked off at the Plymouth line by Victor Cruz Rudberg and the man they call VCR, playing it back behind the goal for Gianluca Curcarudo. Puck rushing defenseman for the Whalers, playing it into London territory. Chatham chasing it right boards with Curcarudo. Played around on the other side, a good pinch by Matt Mistoli. Chatham to the end wall, looking for a play. Takes it on the left side, trying to play it back on the point. It was taken away by McCarron. Puck back and over the Plymouth line. Ryan Rupert, deep right wing, and Walichka trying to play it out in front. That's taken away, and the Whalers back in transition with Mistoli. Late in his shift, will go over the line, got the shot. And Patterson might have got a piece of that. Puck out center ice, and back we go the other way with Domi. Always dangerous, holding on to it. Trying to work out in front, and it failed to click, and it looks like Lawrence bowled over his man in the corner. Is that Rupert? Now the puck around on the other side. Picked up by Sills. He'll play it out center ice. We've not seen much of Cullen Mercer since the first period, and it looks like Mike Bellucci going with more of a veteran lineup here.
Well, and a smart play by Sills there, Krupper. Just keep it simple, silly, and knock the puck off the low boards into the neutral zone to clear the way.
Josh Wesley out of his own zone on a 1-0 Plymouth lead. 5:30 into the third period. Puck loose at the London line, brought out. Now Domi on the right side and over the Plymouth line. The shot right on goal, and the stop made for Alex Nedeljkovic. He keeps the play moving, and Sills out center ice will gain the London line, ringing it around the boards in London territory, and the Whalers go to change. 6 minutes into the third period, the Whalers with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of Danny Vanderweel here in the third period. Owen McDonald, left wing over the line, putting it out in front, and it just failed to click for Tierney on the right side with Tristan Ellie in the vicinity as well. Puck back to the London line. Murmas beat the forecheck of Brooke Hiddink. Owen McDonald back in his own zone. And the puck behind the London goal. Knights will bring it out. Looks like Basso to center, and Dakota Murmas left wing and over the line. Took the shot, blocked by Curcarudo. Puck to the side of the goal, played away. And the Whalers really covering up well for the most part in front of Nedeljkovic. Knights now do a little cycling. Now the shot by Platzer, ripped it wide. Basso at the right point, it eluded Basso, skips out center ice. Platzer back to get it, taken away by Hiddink. Knocked off the puck at the midpoint of the London line by Dakota Murmas. And the Whalers go to change 6 minutes into the third period, a 1-0 Plymouth lead. Basso trying to work off the check of Chatham does. Deep right wing, and the shot by McCarron did not get to the Plymouth goal. Whalers doing an excellent defensive job tonight. Victor Cruz Rudberg, right wing over the London line, snapped it towards the goal. It fluttered in with the Whalers coming in on Jake Patterson. He'll hold it out and get a face-off. We'll take a break and hustle right back. Plymouth 1, London.
In the first two periods, the Shots favored London 26-13, but it was a scoreless hockey game. Early in the third period, in fact, 1:38 into the third period, the Plymouth Whalers get on the board, Rick.
Well, the Plymouth Whalers win the draw, and the London Knights never really recover from this. As you can see, Henderson gets the shot through, and Vanderweel coming through the slot gets his stick on this puck. Watch his stick down in that slot area, and you can see it just tips it enough to go into the 5-hole on Jake Patterson. Now, that's the 16th shot that Jake Patterson faced in tonight's contest, the first one that's beat him. But the Plymouth Whalers are putting a blanket on this hockey game, and the commentators were making note of that. Not many scoring opportunities here in the third period for the Knights. I've counted one so far.
We got two good looks at the rebound replay of that goal. Matthew Henderson actually almost fanned on that initial point shot, but that was tipped in front.
Well, good move by Vanderweel, because first off, he wins the draw. And then he immediately goes into the slot area and he has his stick down ready to tip the puck. So almost a design play for the Plymouth Whalers. And it comes out to be the only goal in this contest so far. Very tight hockey game. And you know that the ice conditions aren't getting any better at this point in the hockey game. This is now the 6th period that the ice has seen in today's two contests.
Playing another one of the weaker cousins in the Western Conference, Sarnia on the 31st and the 1st, so that's 3 games in 4 days. Do the Knights shorten up the bench now to sort of see if they can get a W?
Oh, there's no doubt that the London Knights will shorten up the bench. You'll see a lot more Domi. You'll see a lot more Tierney. You'll see the Rupert twins out there a lot more in this third period as they try and generate some offense.
And, of course, so far in this game, Jake Patterson is actually a bit of a redemption game for him. He had some cold contests leading into this contest.
Well, he had 3 shaky contests heading into this contest. And certainly this one hasn't been a banner one for him. 16 shots on goal, 1 beats him. However, if Jake Patterson can shut the door the rest of the way, the London Knights can come back in this contest. It's going to be very difficult in these conditions. However, there is time left on the clock.
Win, lose, or draw, and of course there's no such thing as a draw in the OHL anymore. We will have the post-game show with Pete James, the wrap, coming up after the broadcast. Let's go back to Comerica.
Play at the length of the ice. And the Whalers playing a real patient game tonight, backed up by Alex Nedeljkovic, and they are holding on to the minimum 1-0 lead. Face it off in the London zone to the right of Jake Patterson.
Boy, in a game like this, how big is the next one, Pete? It is just a monster in a game like this.
Cruz Rudberg on the draw, won it cleanly. Wesley left point, playing it around behind the London goal. Chatham and Cruz Rudberg trying to hold it, but the Knights break it out. Left wing over the Plymouth line, Walichka into the slot, getting the shot, and firing it wide, Max Domi. He's had a lot of good opportunities, Domi. Domi has it again right side. For Walichka, he'll go cycling behind the goal. Kirkarudo gets in the way of McCarron. McCarron on the right boards, looks for an outlet. Domi there, so is Cruz Rudberg. They scrum along the boards in the Plymouth zone. A 1-0 Whalers lead, 8 minutes into the third period. Now Domi along the right wall looking for a play. He'll go left point, Zach Belashot. Right on goal, and Alex Nedeljkovic makes his 30th stop of the hockey game. And I won't say he's making it look easy, but he is in control tonight.
Yeah, he's had some big stops, Pete. Nothing, that make your eyes pop out of your head. But Alex Nedeljkovic's positioning is just so key for Alex. On the previous rush, McCarron came down the far wing, and Ned just came way out to just cut off any kind of angle that McCarron could have hoped for.
Kearney won the draw in the Plymouth zone. Dakota Murmas back behind the goal. Now Matt Rupert around the boards, but it's picked off by Connor Sills. Sills up the right side and over the London line. Sandlak behind the goal for Sills. Sills in a battle with Murmas, who plays it around the board. Outlet clicks to Matt Rupert. Tierney left wing over the Plymouth line to the circle. And that was taken away nicely by Mitch Jones. The Whalers back to center with Sills playing it to the London line. Plymouth 1, London 0, 8:40 into the third period. The goal here in the third period by Danny Vanderweel early in the period. The only goal of this hockey game. Puck shot into London territory. And the Whalers will be called on an icing. 8:49 into the third period.
Pete, I think a couple of Whaler defensemen have had just solid outings here tonight. Mitch Jones, we've talked about the fight in him, and Nick Melissa as well. I think Nick Melissa, number 4 for the Plymouth Whalers, having an outstanding night.
Velarde on the draw for Plymouth, won it. Deep left wing, Tate Sagan. trying to get a shot. That did not get through. Basso trying to go on the other side, or that was Austin trying to go on the other side for Centerami. That did not connect. Josh Wesley out of his own zone. The puck rattled off of Vanderweel. Deep right wing getting the shot, and the stop made by Nedeljkovic. As moving in on the right side, Kyle Platzer has had a certain amount of success against the Whalers this year. Here, Nedeljkovic makes the stop and will hold it and get a face-off.
Well, and you've seen Alex Nedeljkovic do that a few times here tonight. Not afraid to just hold it and get the whistle and hope for his boys to win the draw and poke the puck out of the deep end.
1-0 Plymouth. Face it off to the left of Alex Nedeljkovic. Victor Cruz-Rudberg on the draw against Wolichka. Cruz-Rudberg won it. Will chase it back behind the Plymouth goal. Kirkarudo looking for a play. Now Domi behind the goal against Cruz-Rudberg. Domi, backhand wraparound on the right wing side and holding on to that post. Alex Nedeljkovic with a ton of traffic in front of him. Ned will make the stop and hold it and get a face-off. 9:26 into the period. 1-0 Whalers.
And Domi just relentless on the puck, Pete. He just didn't give up. And again, as we've been talking about all night, throw the puck at the net, just threw a backhander towards the net. And Nedeljkovic had to cover that up.
Knights win the draw, and Zach Bell behind the goal for Domi. Into the slot, getting the shot. McCarron, not sure it got all the way through. Again, the Whalers blocking shots in front of their goaltender, Alex Nedeljkovic. Back the other way, Sandlack a shot. That was blocked. Moving in, getting the shot, Lorentz. And the stop made by Jake Patterson. Back the other way, getting the shot was Wolichka. That did not get to the goal. The Knights seem to be shooting wide at times tonight. Bell holding it right point. Moved to the right circle and getting the shot. Firing it wide was Domi. Domi has been a concern tonight for the Whalers. Left point, Brady Austin. Took the shot right on goal, and the stop made by Nedeljkovic. He's made 32 stops tonight, and the Whalers up 1-0. Puck around the boards in Plymouth territory. Whalers get it out with Connor Sills. Simple play for Connor. He'll gain center with it. Got knocked down for his trouble, but did get it out briefly. Now Wesley will get it out in front of the Whaler bench area. And Lorentz, a safe play, plays it into the London zone. Matt Mistely, right wing, along the boards in the London zone with a battle against Brady Austin. Connor Chatham trying to get a shot right wing. That did not get through. Puck back to the Plymouth line, and Melissa looking for an outlet for Plymouth. Up the right side. And Chatham playing it into the London zone. But it'll be whistled on I believe it's an offside at the London line. 1-0 Plymouth. Halfway through this third period, we'll take a break and hustle right back from Comerica Park.
Hockeytown Winter Festival on Rogers Television continues. I'm Mark Schadenberg alongside Rick Doyle from the studio in London. Danny Vanderweel now, the Plymouth Whalers, has the only goal in this game. So needless to say, Alex Nedeljkovic, who came in with just 10 victories on the entire season, Plymouth's near the bottom of the standings, but only 10 victories. He's looking very good. Well,
10 victories against 22 losses, but 8 of those losses came, 4 of them by shootout, 4 of them by 1-goal hockey games. He has a .911 save percentage. He's faced 32 London shots in here tonight, and I've counted 16 scoring opportunities off the monitor. Nedeljkovic has definitely been the difference in this hockey game for the London Knights. This a golden scoring opportunity, that on the power play for the London Knights late in that second period. And those are the types of saves that the London Knights have faced all night long. There's no reason that the London Knights shouldn't be out in front in this hockey game other than Alex Nedeljkovic.
Of course, he's got over 1,800 minutes. He's second in the league in minutes played, too. So for a 17-year-old, he's getting a lot of action, and that's why he's being so highly touted by the scouts.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, when you're 17 years old and you feel confident enough that you can trade Matt Mahalik to the Kingston Frontenacs in order to keep your 17-year-old and give him the bulk of the games, then you know you've got a good goaltender on your hands. And even though he only has 10 wins on the season, he has a .911 save percentage against 22 losses. So you know they're in a lot of tight contests, and it's not because of Nedeljkovic that they have a losing season going in Plymouth.
Now, Vanderweel scores by deflecting a shot from the point. Is that the type of goal the Knights will need to see if they get an equalizer here in the last 10 minutes?
Well, it certainly looks like a dirty goal, and there's no doubt about it. And Vanderweel does the right thing by going to the slot area and getting the stick down. The London Knights are going to have to do the same thing. They're going to have to get some traffic in front of Nedeljkovic. And certainly the Plymouth Whalers have done a good job of boxing boxing them out so far. There's still about half a period left here, and the London Knights have lots of time to work with, but they have to get the shots through and they need some traffic. That's the only way it looks like you're going to beat Nedeljkovic tonight, is on a greasy one.
Max Domi, by the way, has a 7-game point streak going with 9 goals and 10 assists in that stretch for 19 points. So maybe Max Domi's the guy to keep an eye on to get the equalizer here for the Knights. Let's go back to Detroit.
London 1-0 with 9:05 left in regulation. Puck into Whalers territory. Ryan Rupert playing it to the side of the Plymouth goal. That's played away, and Mitch Jones will bounce it in the air and out center ice. Right wing in his own zone. Basso lead pass. Matt Rupert dumping it deep into Whalers territory. Melissa to the corner. Around on the other side to Mitch Jones. He'll find his man up the right side, and Chatham chasing it deep right wing into the London zone. Dakota Murmas gets there first, finds Basso on the right side. London in transition with Tierney, always dangerous, right wing and over the line. Left wing, Murmas putting it out in front, and a redirect just failed to click on the right wing side of the goal for the Knights. Chatham powering it out center ice. And the Whalers continue to play well in front of Nedeljkovic. 1-0 Plymouth with 8:15 left in the third period. Now the Whalers will be called on the icing. And I agree with you, Sean. We were talking in the break. The Knights really trying to force the action here.
Yeah, Ryan Rupert a little slow to get back on side there, probably ruining another opportunity. Look at Rupert. Somehow he misses there, and watch the puck come back up the ice. And Rupert, as that puck got in the neutral zone, was about 10 feet offside, so they had to wait, not affording them another opportunity to get that puck in deep.
Knights win the draw in the Plymouth zone. Domi a shot, wired it wide. Danny Vanderweel, the goal scored tonight, up for Brooke Hiddink. Playing it to the London line, but that's played away by Zach Bell and back in the Whalers territory. Plymouth brings it out. Up the left wing boards to center. It's played into the London zone by Kirkarudo. Played out again. And again, now the chess match continues. Wesley takes the tee up from Nedeljkovic. We'll settle it down with 7:40 left in the third period. Plymouth 1, London 0. Kirkarudo beat the forecheck of Max Domi. Right side to center from the penalty box area. Hiddink picked off. Domi giving chase, but Wesley finding his man. Right wing, Hiddink circles back behind his own goal. Hiddink up the left side, beat Domi with the puck, and here's Sandlak on it. Over the London line left side. Got the shot blocked high in the air and out of play. With 7:18 left in regulation, 1-0 Whalers. Knights have outshot the Whalers, Sean, 32-19.
Carter Sandlak, London native, of course, a recent signee by the Carolina Hurricanes, really come here and provided the Whalers with not only some scoring punch, but some good veteran leadership as well.
Sandlak off the face-off the shot, did not get through. Sills behind the goal with Lorentz and Sandlak up front. Sills left wing. Left point, Matthew Henderson. Assisted on the first Whaler goal and the only goal of the game. We're going to get a London penalty. Sills ducked just in time. Might be an elbow there. Delayed call as Nedeljkovic gets to the bench. The Whalers get an extra attacker out there. And now the penalty to London. This will come at 13:05.
Well, that's just what the doctor ordered right now for the Whalers, as well as they're trying to draw another one there. And Carter Sandlak's trying to say that he got a little jump there, but there's the hand up, goes up right away. I love the what I do. I'm always a big fan of that. It's going to be Alex Basso going to the box. So Pete, with 6:55 to go, a glorious opportunity for the Whalers to get what would just be a big goal via the power play. If nothing else, maybe rag a couple minutes off this clock that still has a lot of time for a team with the firepower that the Knights have.
Cruz Rudberg won the draw, and Lorentz at the right point. Has it again. Tried to go cross ice left wing to Cruz Rudberg, taken away. London back in transition. Left wing moving in, getting the shot was Brady Austin. A good stop by Nedeljkovic as the Knights broke down on the penalty kill. Back comes Hiddink, taking it back behind the London goal, and a 1-0 Plymouth lead, and the Whalers on the power play. Right point, Zach Lorentz plays it back behind the goal for Matt Mistely. Hiddink left side. Cruz Rudberg trying to hit Kirkarudo at the left point, but that skips out back to the Plymouth line. 6:15 left in regulation, 1-0 Plymouth. Matt Mistely, right wing over the London line. Takes it and tried to play it out in front. That did not connect. Now Velarde, right wing. Plays it around on the other side. They work it back on the point for Kirkarudo. Hiddink for Velarde's left corner, bumping with Dakota Murmas. And the Knights bring it out. Solo rushing over the Plymouth line is Matt Rupert. Got the shot. Stop made by Alex Nedeljkovic. Made his 34th stop of the hockey game. Velarde gets it out center ice and Connor Chatham on it. Plays it in front of the penalty box there. That was taken away, and the puck back in the Whalers' territory. Sandlak with 5:30 left, and the Whalers up 1-0. Plymouth on a power play for another 30 seconds. Mitch Jones will pick it up, dump it into London territory, chasing it to the end wall. Sandlak beat his man to it, Brady Austin. Velarde spreading it out along the left boards with Chatham back on the left point to Henderson, trying to hit his man on the right point, but vacating the zone. Playing defense was Jones. Now the puck back behind the London goal with 5:05 left. Knights will bring it out. Welichka falling down in his own zone. Following up Murmas back behind the goal with 5 minutes left in the period. 1-0 Plymouth here at Comerica Park. Now the Knights back at full strength. Jones on out of his own zone. Puck shot to the London line. Cruz Rudberg, left wing and over the line. Got the shot. That was blocked. Sills on the puck in the right corner in the London zone. The Knights will bring it out to center. From the penalty box there, that's Basso reorganizing for London. Wide right wing and over the line. That's McCarron trying to jam it on goal. It crashed the net. And he was run into the goal, and they both ran into Nedeljkovic. And it remains a 1-0 Plymouth lead.
Well, that's been McCarron's game tonight. I think that's why he's been one of the more dangerous Knights all night long. I mean, we saw it early. Look at him just driving hard to the net. Look at Melisa doing his best to stay with him. Polk checked that puck away, but McCarron kept going to the net as well he should.
Yeah, and Alex Nedeljkovic, one of the stories in this game. Let's take a break, and we'll hustle right back. Following tonight's game, and usually after every Friday home game throughout the regular season, but it will be on tonight with Pete James. It is The Wrap. You can call in your comments about the outdoor game from Comerica Park and participate through Twitter, RTV OHL Wrap. Back here at the studio in London with Rick Doyle alongside. Do you have any worries whatsoever that the London Knights have lost a pair of games in Niagara Ice Dogs in the lower part of the standings and today are struggling against the Plymouth Whalers?
Well, the London Knights do struggle against the bottom feeders in the Ontario Hockey League. They've done it all season long. It seems that they don't prepare as well for these games as they do for the teams that are at the top end of the standings. So this is a trend that they've followed and something that they'll have to interrupt. And of course, with back-to-back games coming up against the Sarnia Sting fighting for a playoff spot as well. So the London Knights looking for the magic against these teams with less than 500 in the standings, and certainly tonight's no different. Although in this period they've had 8 shots on goal, they've had 3 scoring opportunities with those shots on goal. They have 17 scoring opportunities so far in Nedeljkovic, and we have to say that he stood on his head all night long, and he's been the difference in this contest.
Of course, the London Knights are missing 7 players, but any team coached by Mark Hunter would certainly say no excuses.
Well, there are no excuses. I mean, one hockey club tonight, they're missing 2 of their key components in the Plymouth Whalers. They have Rathgab out of the lineup, and they have Hartman out of the lineup. The London Knights with 5 key players out of the lineup. However, you still have to play with the players that are there, and that's why they build depth in the organization. So there is no excuses with regards to players in and out of the lineup. You still have to play the games, and you still have to win.
Yeah, 5 players of the World Juniors. Mitchell Marner with a hat-trick today for Team Ontario. Let's go back to Comerica Park. Outside, but the Knights and the Whalers, some warm and maybe even hot hockey action over the final 4 minutes or so.
Well, crowd's still having a lot of fun, too, and certainly this game not out of reach by any stretch of the imagination. All it takes is a shot, a deflection. I mean, heck, that's how the Whalers have this 1-0 lead.
Domi over the line, got the shot, blocked. Now McCarron to the side of the goal. Picked off on the play. Domi wrapper on right wing side. Nedeljkovic got a piece of that. Picked up by Lorentz, trying to get it out. Domi holding it right boards. Now the Whalers reverse it, and Sills tipping it out center ice. 4 minutes left in the third period. Plymouth 1, London 0. Puck back into the London zone. Playing it around on the right side, Kyle Platzer. Up the middle on the left side. And over the Plymouth line, Michael McCarron for London, and Domi Left boards, looks for a play. Back on the left point to Dakota Murmas, a shot. Nowhere near the goal. Kirkarudo chopping it ahead. Whalers trying to get it out. London a good job holding it, but now the Whalers do have it. And it's Josh Wesley up the right side and Chatham playing it into Jake Patterson, who makes the stop. While we have a moment of special hello and thank you to our good friends at New Line in Toronto and Burnaby, British Columbia, our invaluable internet partners. Ryan Rupert taking it deep left wing in the Plymouth zone. They work it around on the left point to Murmas. Now Rupert again trying to find his twin brother in the slot, tapped away. And Tierney at the right point cannot keep it alive, and the Whalers forcing it back into the London zone. 3 minutes left in regulation. 1-0 Plymouth. They scrum forward along the left boards. Now the shot. Hard on goal by Rupert. We're going to get a penalty out in front. Sean groaning, but the penalty will come to the Whalers.
Yep, driving hard to the net, Pete, and it was a scenario where right in front of the net, Mitch Jones trying to give the business to Tierney. He's been physical all night, but Pete away from the puck. He's going to get called here. Watch this. Either that's the way it is. I don't care who you root for, Pete. That is one of those interference calls that you've seen all year long. At least you have to give the officials this. For the most part, they have been consistent. But I'll tell you what we're going to get here is we're going to get a timeout from London. Pete, 2:48 to go, and a power play opportunity for the Knights.
So Dale Hunter will gather his team around. They're looking for the equalizer. And the Whalers huddle around Mike Bellucci and Joe Steffen. They're looking to choke off this London power play. The only goal of the game back at 1:38 of the third period off a face-off, a deflection by Danny Vandeweel. Off a shot from the point by Matthew Henderson, and the face-off won by Francesco Velarde. And that's been it in this game for Vandeweel. His fifth of the year.
Pete, an announced crowd of 26,384. Just great for hockey and great for this great league. This league that I know I can speak for you. I think it's some of the best hockey you'll find anywhere.
Totally agree, 100%. Let's see what the Whalers can do on this penalty-killing assignment. Important point of this game right here. Plymouth up 1-0. The Knights on a power play with 2:40 left. Basso to the high slot. They move it around to Ryan Rupert. In deep Domi. Cross ice late wing. Basso a shot. Blocked by Nedeljkovic. He got a piece of that, and the Whalers will play it the length of the ice with Zach Lorentz. And the Knights have pulled the goaltender. So they have a 6-on-4 man power advantage. Patterson's gone to the bench. Knights have pulled the goaltender. Domi, left wing over the Plymouth line, will hold it up. Into the slot, getting the shot. Tierney, they score! And they tie it up.
You could see that coming, Pete. Good strategy by Dale Hunter, and they had, again, those bodies in front. You put the puck towards the net, and you look for a bounce down low, and they were rewarded. We'll take a look at perhaps what it hit, but the shot starts right there, and it may have hit a couple different things there. Maybe it was McCarron that got the piece, or I'm not sure, but you could tell it hit a couple different things on its way to the net. Regardless, with only 2:14 to go, the London Knights get the equalizer on their 36th shot on goal.
Tierney took the shot. We'll see if he gets credit for the goal. It definitely seemed to change direction in front of Nedeljkovic. And now London called on an icing. With 2:06 left in the third period, we're tied at 1.
Boy, you knew the goals would be at a premium and a late power play opportunity, and Dale Hunter rolls the dice, and they get an extra attacker out there, and it works.
Face it off to the left of Jake Patterson. Lorentz on the draw, and Sills has it right wing. The Knights play it out center ice. Kirkarudo back for the Whalers, left wing, got the shot. Stop made by Jake Patterson. He'll hold it and get a face-off. So the Knights have tied it at 1. We've got 1:57 left in the third period.
I think they gave credit to Tierney. I think that's what I heard. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's who got credit for the goal. We'll wait for the official count.
Now the shot by Sandlak. They jam away out in front. And Sills digging for the loose puck. And Patterson has got it beneath him. So the Whalers come back with a flurry of their own. Started by digging the puck out from behind the goal and Sandlak taking the shot.
Boy, I think Carter Sandlak thought that he had the goal that gave the Whalers the lead again. Here, take a look at the replay. There's a rebound off the Laurent shot, and look at Sandlak come in, and he was already raising the stick. And I think he thought that one was going in.
So we'll face it off in the London zone in a 1-1 game with 1:46 left in the third period. Lorentz and Tierney on the draw. Puck laying the dot, dug free by the Knights and Alex Basso. Playing it in the air, good knockdown by Sandlak. Will play it back behind the London goal. Starting it up for the Knights is Alex Basso. Basso left wing, picked off in the Plymouth zone, but Domi will follow up. Try to jam it to the goal. Played behind the goal, and Domi looking for a play. With 1:20 left in regulation in a 1-1 game now. Whalers dig it free, and here's Chatham on it. Over the London line on the right wing. Chatham battling with a London player. They collide to the end wall. That was Chatham and Basso. Knights bring it out. Here's Domi on it, left wing over the Plymouth line. Trying to play it into the slot area, but knocked away. Now the Whalers with a minute left in the third period. To center, Mistally and Cruz Rudberg picked off at the London line. Knights bring it back. Left wing getting the shot. Domi's been out there a long time. Now Domi, another shot. Fired it wide. High slot. And the shot by Austin did not get through. 40 seconds left. Whalers trying to get it out of their own zone. They succeed with Victor Cruz Rudberg. VCR left wing over the London line, holds onto it. Tried to guide it out in front. And that was played away. Held in by Mistally, right boards. Back behind the goal, Brook hitting. Taken away. 20 seconds left. Overtime looming rather large here at Comerica Park. They play extra innings in baseball. They also play a little extra time in hockey. Puck out center ice in front of the penalty box area. Less than 10 seconds to play in regulation. Right wing is Wesley. We'll pick up the puck again with time winding down in the third period, and we are headed into overtime, tied at 1. Shots on goal in the third period by London, 12 for a game total of 38. By the Whalers, 10 for a game total of 23.
Well, it's almost right. Both of these teams are coming away with at least a point. Certainly somebody is going to get an extra point here tonight. But, Pete, at the end of the day, you touched on something the last minute of play. I think longtime Knight fans, I'll share a name with you. We'll go back in the time machine, and I'll compare him to Max Domi when we come back.
So we're headed in overtime. We'll take a quick break and hustle right back. You're watching from Comerica Park, the Ontario Hockey League, on a courtesy of the Schoolcraft Company. OHL Hockey Winter Festival, of course, tonight scored that late goal. But what's significant about that is the fact that each of the players involved in that extended a point streak.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Alex Basso starts the play off in his own zone. That's a 3-game point scoring streak for him. Max Domi extends his point scoring streak to 8 with that pass right there, and that knuckleball puck that gets in behind Nedeljkovic. That's 9-game point scoring streak for Chris Tierney. That's his 20th goal of the season. And certainly the first one to 20 for the London Knights, and a good time.
Interesting also for Chris Tierney, first one to 50 points for the London Knights. 20 goals, 30 assists, and 50 points on the season. Do we dare make a prediction who might score the overtime goal? If there's going to be an overtime goal, of course, it's 5 minutes of 4-on-4. I dare pick Max Domi. And, well, why not Mistally for Plymouth?
Well, that's two pretty good picks. I'll pick the London boy, Carter Sandlak, and the other way I'll pick a London boy for the London Knights and Brett Walichka. I think it's going to be a dirty goal to win this hockey game. What's your thoughts on the power play? When the Knights said, oh, they're going to drop the puck here, we'll ask you maybe at the post game, but the thoughts of Dale Hunter pulling his goalie on the power play. But let's go back to Comerica.
I think he's played about 45 minutes tonight. I'm sure longtime London Knight fans will remember Dennis Weidman on the blue line. You and I used to joke that Dennis Weidman played 61 minutes a game. And the game's 60 minutes long.
Played a ton and was a valuable member of the Knights not long ago. But here we're in overtime, tied at 1. Chris Tierney looking for the puck at center. It's picked up by Basso. Basso taking a long look, just underway in the overtime. Both goals in the third period, Danny Vandeweel for the Whalers and Chris Tierney for London. Dakota Murmas, left wing over the Plymouth line for London. Holding on to it in the high slot is Tierney. Will take it along the right boards, trying to work out in front. Takes it back behind the goal as he was checked by Wesley. Domi back on the right point to Murmas and back to Domi heading to the slot, but the puck taken away nicely. And the Whalers back with Lorentz. Up for Connor Chatham. Chatham right wing over the London line. Will take it wide along the boards. Got the shot blocked by Basso. Chatham chasing it on the left side. Looks for a play. Will tee up the shot. And he fired it wide. Held in right point to Melissa. Right wing moving in Velarde. Jamming it towards the goal. Patterson holding it a scramble in the blue ice. And Patterson has got it. And the Whalers, Chatham and Velarde had something going there.
Yeah, boy, it looked like Velarde just had 2, 3, 4 cracks near side goalpost, but Patterson was holding tight, didn't give him any room to maneuver down there, Pete.
And, Velarde had a couple of cracks at it. Play back underway in a 1-1 tie in overtime. We're 1:15 into the extra session. Puck loose in front of the penalty box area. Zach Bell in his own zone for London. Played out center ice, the Whalers bring it back. Matt Mistely, right wing, got the shot. That was blocked. And the Knights will play it out center ice. They're on the rush with Matt Rupert, left wing over the Plymouth line, tied up by Melissa. Rupert played it back behind the goal and Mistely back to get it for the Whalers. Being checked by Ryan Rupert, tried to go out in front. Did, but a nice block by the Whaler captain, Nick Melissa. Victor Cruz Rudberg has a goal in overtime for the Whalers. Over the line, intended for Mitch Jones up on the play, but that's taken away. 2 minutes into overtime, tied at 1 at Comerica Park. Dakota Murmas for London. Left wing over the Plymouth line. Knocked off the puck by Sandlack, and it's called on the offside by London at the Plymouth line.
Pete, down in the what would be right field corner of Comerica Park, I think somebody had to run over and tell the Zamboni driver, don't put those keys away quite just yet. And that's exactly what just happened, because if this game remains scoreless after 5 minutes of the overtime, they have to bring that Zamboni back out to create that stripe down the middle for the shootout.
That could happen the way these teams are playing tonight. We're tied at 1 in overtime. 2:05 into the overtime. Knights to center and over the Plymouth line. On the left wing, Basso got the shot off the shoulder of Nedeljkovic. And Ned makes his 38th stop of the hockey game. Will hold it and get a face-off.
39-26 shots on goal here in the overtime session.
Face it off to the right of Alex Nedeljkovic. The Whalers in the overtime have outshot London 3-1. 2:42 left in the overtime. Tierney on the draw against Velarde, and we're going to get, I believe, a timeout here. This could be Plymouth on a timeout. So Mike Bellucci choosing to call a timeout here and map out maybe some defensive strategy. Whatever happens, it starts right off the faceoff. You got to win that.
Yeah, always got to take care of the puck in the defensive zone, and I'm sure that's what he's telling the boys. Okay, this is what we're going to do after we win the draw. I want you guys to break out this way. Pete, just my investigative reporting, no sign of the Zamboni just yet. So we'll see how they work that out.
The fans are staying here. Again, the announced crowd of 26,384.
Yeah, just a fun day all around here at Comerica Park. It's been a fun couple of weeks for perhaps some of our viewers over on the Canadian side. We've had high school hockey here. We've had youth hockey here, American Hockey League. We're going to have, of course, the old-timers game as well. Just a fun time here in the Detroit area.
Right here, we're in overtime, Plymouth and London. The Knights with the puck deep in Plymouth territory with Domi behind the goal. Wrapper on right wing side, and Nedeljkovic holding on to it. The Knights are celebrating, but the whistle blew. Domi making something happen again.
And we've got a penalty coming as well, Pete. I believe the Knights are going to go on a power play here.
Let's see what gets called here. It's going to be Josh Wesley going off.
Yeah, look at that. There's Tierney and Wesley right in your front room. So The Knights, who tied the game late via the power play, are going to have an opportunity to win it late here in the overtime session as well.
So Wesley off at 2:30 of the overtime. Plymouth on the penalty kill. It's going to be Melissa with Lawrence and Kirkarudo out there when they get settled up. Knights with a 4-on-3 power play in the overtime as they work to fix the ice in the Plymouth blue crease area.
Yeah, get that net back on. You can see the drill out there, getting it back in place.
Face it off to the right of Alex Nedeljkovic. Often said your goaltender is your best penalty killer. We'll see what happens here. Lawrence on the draw against Tierney in the Plymouth zone. Tierney wins it. Basso to the high slot, has it left side. 1-1 in overtime, the Knights on the power play. Domi dishes off. Domi right wing the shot, stopped by Nedeljkovic, juggles the rebound. And then will hold it right around the third base area. Don't know if Miguel Cabrera will be playing there this year for the Tigers.
Well, it sounds like he's going to be playing first. Nick Castellanos,
yeah,
from all accounts, will be the third baseman.
Whalers win the draw, but it's held in by Basso. He'll hold it, and Domi to the high slot. Fakes the shot. Knights packing it in a little bit in overtime on a 4-on-3 power play, tied at 1. Basso hammered the shot. Stop made by Nedeljkovic. Stopped the rebound as well. And Ned showing the goaltender is a good penalty killer there, as the Knights a couple of good cracks.
Well, Ryan Rupert down low got a pretty good crack, and Nick Melissa decided that he wanted to put a suit on him and just jumped on his back.
Tierney won another draw. Knights continue on a power play. In a 1-1 game, Domi leaves it to the high slot, getting the shot, and that was blocked. Tierney, the shot was blocked by Lawrence, I believe that was, and out center ice. Knights bring it back. Domi leaving it for Tierney again. Now the shot. On goal, the stop for Nedeljkovic. Loose out in the blue ice. Knights trying to dig it free. Whaler, white jerseys trying to hold it, and they will with 1:30 left. And 1:01 left in the penalty to Wesley. Nothing fancy here, Sean.
No, and you know what? Good job by the official there. I know a lot of fans, maybe the fans of the home team Whalers are screaming, where's the whistle? Where's the whistle? The official was in a position where he saw the puck the whole time, so no need to blow it dead. And good news, Pete, the Zamboni is resurfaced.
And even better, Vanderweel won the draw for the Whalers. Plymouth cannot get it out, though. Knights remain on a power play, 1-1 in overtime. Left side, Basso a shot, blocked. Good play by Kirkarudo. Played around on the boards and skips out of play. And what are we going to get here? Just a stoppage in play with 1:16 left.
And I think the Whalers are saying that puck went up and over by the Knights. And the officials talking about it, and they're bringing it outside. The linesman comes over, gives the definitive word. That's a big break for the Whalers, Pete, with 46 seconds remaining in this power play opportunity. Only a $1.16 left to go here in overtime.
1-1, Plymouth and London, all the scoring in the third period. Max Domi has played a ton tonight. You could say he skated miles on the pond. Domi to the slot, moving in, lost the handle on it. Basso on the left side, back to Domi. Plays it to the right side, believe that's Tierney, and back to Domi. Right side in the shot, stopped by Nedeljkovic, puck behind the goal. Rupert digs it free. Domi holds it right point. And it skipped away from Domi. 15 seconds left in the penalty to Wesley, the final minute of play of overtime. Domi tries it again. Right wing and over the line, Domi holding on to it. Basso asking for the puck, but it goes to Tierney. Tierney taking a look. Left side, Basso. Basso with a man in front of him as Wesley comes back on. Puck to the side of the goal, and a great stop by Nedeljkovic. I believe that was Ryan Rupert at the side of the goal, and Ned, maybe his best stop of the hockey game.
Well, and did you see him hang his head, throw his head up in front? It might be Tierney down low. We'll take a look at the replay, Pete, but right in front and flashing some glove there. Tierney came in late, but it was the Rupert shot indeed, Pete. So 26.7 seconds remaining in this overtime session. We're back at 4 aside.
Picking it up, Nick Melissa. The Whaler captain will go right side to center for Francesco Velarde. He'll play it into the London zone. 10 seconds left in the overtime. Now make that 11.9 as the play whistle dead. The Zamboni's coming out. They're going to smooth out the ice if we get into the shootout session. Plymouth 1, London 1. 11.9 seconds left in the overtime. Now the Knights bring it out with Austin. Up the right side and over the line is Matt Rupert. Now Sandlack will play it ahead, and we are headed into the shootout, tied at 1. Shots on goal in the overtime by London 7 for a game total of 45, by the Whalers 3 for a game total of 26. Most of those London shots, Sean, came on the power play.
Yeah, they sure did. 44 stops for Alex Nedeljkovic tonight. What else can you say about the 17-year-old from Parma, Ohio? I think he's been the best player on the ice here tonight. Not to be undone, I think Jake Patterson's had to make some big stops as well. He's got 25 stops on the night.
So we go into the shootout, the Whalers' second straight shootout. And they won in Oshawa on December the 20th in their last game. And strangely enough, Sean, Zach Lorentz did not score in that game. But he shot second. I would not be surprised to see that again. For some of you fans that don't watch the Whalers much, Zach Lorentz has had a heck of a year in the shootout, usually going second for Mike Vellucci.
He's flashed the backhand a few times, Pete, and then he fooled a goaltender. Mid-December, it was a home game, Pete. I forget who it was, where he went to that backhand and the goaltender overcommitted and he pulled it back and scored a lovely, lovely goal.
So we'll see what happens in the shootout when we get there. The Whalers in overtime. This is their 12th overtime. They have 3 wins in overtime, 4 shootout wins, 4 shootout losses. London, this is their 6th overtime. They have 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 shootout losses. If you're new to the OHL, the OHL shootout, exact same as the National Hockey Leagues. So that should make it easy for you if you follow the NHL.
Now they're clearing a lot of space down there, Pete, for this shootout. Usually what you see is just a couple stripes right down the middle, but these guys are working, well, overtime here to create a fresh sheet of ice for the boys.
While we have a moment, we want to thank the Schoolcraft College Sports Network for their outstanding work today. And I'll tell you what, they were here early in the morning, Sean. They're going to be here a little bit later after this game. Just a tremendous job.
Well, a lot of depth in that truck, Crupper.
Indeed. Indeed.
That was for you.
And again, we thank everybody at Comerica Park for their great hospitality and cooperation. If you're watching this game from London, thank you for watching. We appreciate it very much. And for all you Whaler fans, hope you've enjoyed the broadcast as well. Hey, if you're a fan of the OHL, a fan of hockey, we appreciate it. We love what we do here. I'm Pete Krupsky with Sean Baligan. Not a bad way to make a living.
Beautiful night here in the city of Detroit. And again, this is just part of what has been a magnificent past couple of weeks. And it all culminates on January 1st with a game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings about 30 miles due west of here. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Michigan Stadium, where, of course, the University of Michigan football team plays.
So let's see what happens in the shootout. That coming up. The Alex Nedeljkovic against Jake Patterson. And see Ned getting ready to take his spot in the goal. Jake Patterson on the other side for London.
Well, it's been a game, Pete, where I think you and I hit the nail on top of the head early. You just knew there weren't going to be a lot of goals scored here tonight. We know that only one more is going to be scored here tonight.
Connor Chatham has had success in the shootouts. He's the first shooter for the Whalers. Here he comes up against Patterson. Chatham fakes, got the shot, and does not score. So now it's the Knights. Somewhere Max Domi's going to be in the middle of all this, I am sure. And it's going to be Matt Rupert.
Now Matt Rupert, a young man who's got 11 goals in 20 games. Let's see what he's got.
Good speed coming in, fakes and scores. And so Rupert scores the first goal of the shootout.
Just waited that extra half second for Alex Nedeljkovic to open up, and he deposited it between the legs.
Zach Lorentz in the second spot. Backhand or forehand, hard to say with this guy, but he's been good for the Whalers. Here he comes. Oh, he scores! That was a different way to score. It wasn't backhand or forehand, it was a stuff.
Yeah, just kind of pulled it back. Not quite the Peter Forsberg Lillehammer goal, but pulled it back and found it in.
Chris Tierney, the San Jose draft, winds it up. Here he comes for London. We're tied at 1 in the shootout. Tierney moving in, fake backhand, and Ned stayed right with him.
Yeah, just he waited for Tierney to make the first move, and once Tierney did, he just simply ran out of room.
Let's see who this is going to be. Matthew Henderson. He has gone before in shootouts. Young man with a certain amount of creativity, the defenseman. Big moment for the Whaler rookie, Matthew Henderson. He'll wind it up. He's coming into the hash marks. Fakes. Spinorama. Oh, and he did not score.
Wow, what an interesting move that was. Kind of stopped on a dime and just spun around. And I don't know if Patterson made the stop or not, but Pete, this is going to be a big one, and it's Domi.
Domi can win it for London. Now this is different. Look at Domi picking it up. Now he comes in. Max Domi against Alex Nedeljkovic, and Ned beat him. No problems for Ned there. So we go to a forced shooter. And it's going to be Francesco Velarde. He's played well tonight for the Whalers.
Yeah, he has. A couple of opportunities.
Here comes the Whaler rookie, Francesco Velarde. Decent speed moving in. Faking.
Ooh.
Score! Might have popped the water bottle.
What a release.
Hey, don't call me Frankie, call me Francesco. And the Whalers leading the shootout. They can win it right here.
Made the move and the release all in one moment.
Going to be Ryan Rupert coming in. Top of the right circle and now moving in. Faking. And Ned beat him, and the Whalers win it in a shootout, 2-1. How about that, Sean Baligan?
And I'll tell you what, look at the exuberance off the bench as well. That is a hard-fought 2 points against one of the best, if not the best team in the Ontario Hockey League. Just an outstanding effort from both clubs tonight. And the Whalers come up big. Velarde and Nedeljkovic, the heroes.
So the Whalers a little two-game winning streak now.
Well, and they had to do it the hard way as well, Pete, via the shootout both ways. But, hey, all's well that ends well. They needed the 2 points here. They wanted the 2 points here tonight, and they got the 2 points here tonight in what was just a great event here at Comerica Park.
Alex Nedeljkovic solid in goal for the Whalers, but the team in front of him pretty good too.
Yeah, no doubt. It was a total team effort tonight. It really was. It started in their back end. I mean, with all the talent and certainly the big bodies that the Knights have, they had to work really hard. But in the end, as we said, Velarde with the big goal and Nedeljkovic clearly the number one star here tonight.
Any final thoughts?
A fantastic game, really, Pete. It was an honor to even be here.
Shootout went to a fourth round. Francesco Velarde got the winning goal there for the Plymouth Whalers. 2-1 victory, and as the commentators just said there, Pete Krupsky, back-to-back overtime wins, shootout wins here for the Plymouth Whalers.
Well, Alex Nedeljkovic, certainly the story in this contest. And Nedeljkovic, I counted, there was 18 scoring opportunities. Let's check that. 25 scoring chances on Nedeljkovic, 45 shots on goal for the London Knights, and Nedeljkovic comes up with a gem, and certainly came up with a gem in the shootout as well. Stopped 3 of 4 shooters. He's named the first star in tonight's contest. Danny Vanderweel, he scores the goal for the Plymouth Whalers in regulation time. He's the star number 2, and Chris Tierney with the only goal in here for the London Knights at Comerica Park, other than the shootout goal that the London Knights enjoyed. Tierney with his 20th of the season, the 50th point. He rounds out the 3 stars in tonight's
contest. Let's take a look, therefore, the play of the game in this contest here. Victorious by the Plymouth Whalers by a count of 2-1. Here's the play of the game. It'll be Velarde scoring. his shootout winner on Jake Patterson. Earlier in the shootout, Zach Lorenz had scored for Plymouth, and for the Knights, Matt Rupert had scored. In fact, he started with the goal to start off the shootout. But it's victorious here by a score of 2-1 here tonight for the Plymouth Whalers. Of course, the wrap is still coming up here with Pete James on Rogers TV. Upcoming broadcasts for the London Knights. They entertain the Sarnia Sting. That's the very traditional game going back to 2002, 2003, where London plays in Sarnia and at London against the Sting, leading up to the New Year's Eve and January the 1st. So it's 4 p.m. on December 31st at Budweiser Gardens. The very next day, 7 p.m. on January the 1st at Sarnia. So back-to-back games against the Sting coming up. So for Chris Burkholz behind this wall over here and Rick Doyle, thanks for watching. Of course, also thanks to Schoolcraft College for their production, and Pete Krupsky and everyone with the Plymouth Whalers organization, as the Plymouth Whalers win 2-1 in a shootout tonight on Rogers TV. The wrap is next.